Welcome to What the Drift Podcast with your hosts, Formula Drift drivers Andy Haitley and Jeff Jones.
Episode 7. Lucky number 7.
Episode 7!
It's amazing.
777.
We're still
Did
doing
I turn it down?
I'm very surprised. We have our first...
Surprise with 7?
Yeah. We have our first real guest. All the other ones were simulated from the metaverse.
This
and
person exists.
This one actually
In the
exists.
flesh.
It's insane,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So this is Sean Adriano. He's had a
Yep.
lot of titles over the years. He's been a Pro 2 driver. He's been a excellent Top Drift driver. He's worked for Achilles. He's worked for Gretty. He's worked for my buddy Gary. That's where you grew your fabrication legs.
Yep,
If
pretty much
we're gonna say that.
Everything I know came from Gary. All the people I met came from Gary.
So Gary was your college education, we'll call it.
Pretty much. I mean, I was actually going to community and after class going after
All
just showing
through
up
Gary.
at a shop. And
Uncle Gary.
Uncle Gary.
Uncle
Yeah.
Gary Castillo of Design Craft Fab.
Heineken Master.
Mr. Heineken Master,
Yep.
yeah.
And so now, what is your title?
That's a good question. With drifting,
Well, what is your official FD title?
so I would be the driver's steward, aka the punching bag.
Yes,
No,
the
but
steward, the person I go yell at when I'm
Yeah.
pissed off that the judges.
Everybody
fucked up
comes
their
in and yells at me.
decisions.
So
All right, so
it's a good deal.
let's. Do we got some video of this man doing some stuff? I heard
We have
got
video,
s-
but we're gonna roll into that later because.
Dang it! I wanted to see some wrecks and things.
Oh, I
We're gonna
got
get there,
a lot
but
of those.
These people up here that are watching us on Instagram Live will not be able to see that.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
freaking
we
nerds.
could turn the camera around and kind of
Oh
let them see
my
it. But
god! What if they just watched our
check-
We'll,
reaction?
we'll roll
check
into that
back.
slowly.
Right.
I got some good ones.
It's just a POV of
Yeah.
our reactions. Of what we're seeing.
So let's start from Sean when he was a bright young baby boy.
Baby
oh
boy.
man,
Yeah,
you guys are going back
you,
that
you
far.
were into
huh?
Hondas back in the day before you got into drifting, yeah?
I gotta
So
go. Really?
haters,
Get him
dude.
out!
Yeah.
Out!
So my first car was a.
You lost at
Acura
least
RSX.
20 points,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Hey man, can't deny K Series' best 4-cylinder motor.
And he's
Boy.
been a diehard Honda guy. He's had some sick Oh, you only have one S2000 over the years? You still got it?
Please
one
comment if
S2000,
you want
I
to
miss
fight
that
this
car.
man over what
You
he
don't have
just
it
said.
anymore?
Oh jeez,
That thing was awesome.
S2000s are amazing cars.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I like S2000s.
So you
the
started-
axles are in the right place. The
That's
motor's
true.
facing the right direction.
The wheels are the right wheels are turning.
Yeah. All that other
They make
sideways stuff is the
terrible
wrong
drift
sideways
cars, I'll
stuff.
say
Yeah.
that.
This is true.
Yeah, I took it to balcony one time. Just don't.
Don't. There you go,
Gary
ladies and
will
gentlemen.
get mad, but yeah.
Mhm.
Just
Well, the one
don't.
that worked, the RSR one, had like a 626 rack in it or something like that. Mazda
Yeah.
626 rack or
That or a Miata.
Miata rack?
Something like that.
Yeah, they didn't have the actual, S2000 rack,
Yeah.
and those things are twitchy.
Actually, I think Gary ended up buying that car, so I think he has that. He owns that car.
He still has the-
yeah. Like
the
I
carbon
think it went
body
to
one?
China.
Yep. Yep.
Or no, that was the carbon body was the C West one, I think.
Yeah.
And then the RSR was that one carbon?
No, that you're right. Yeah, those are different cars. Yeah.
Well,
I'm thinking
yeah.
of
And,
the
anyway,
C-West
that thing
one,
went
yeah.
to China and around whatever, and then I think
No, I think they
3 or
both
4
were
years ago?
RSR. Yeah, because the one in China was RSR. Yeah.
You guys
Um,
lost me in this conversation. What the hell you're talking about?
Honda boys.
S-
Dog.
You just
S2000s,
rambled
bro.
down
Boys.
S2000 alley real quick.
Step
Can we,
Papadakis
can we
drifted
keep
one,
this
too.
to drifting? What the drift? Hello?
Hey, but how many people actually know that Steph Papadakis drifted an S2000 in Formula Drift?
It was a dark
yellow one?
point in his career,
Yeah.
for sure.
Dark point.
Yeah.
Dang, that's
Yeah.
dirty. That's dirty.
If you
Hey,
listen
man, but
to
look at him now.
when he
Oh,
was
geez.
driving
That guy's,
and you listen to J-Rod talk to him, he
Yeah.
just talks so much smack on those 2 years of him
Oh,
driving.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
Jared pulls out
So
some.
funny.
Yeah.
Jared pulls out some good ones sometimes.
Oh my God. All right, so he's got a beer.
So what
I'm
got-
empty. Hold on.
Go
And
get
you're
it.
empty.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fresh
Can we-
out.
can we
We're
please
gonna
get a-
some beers? So what got you from driving the wrong wheel drive cars into driving the right wheel
Yes,
drive
sir.
cars?
Oh, that's a
I'm good for right now.
good question. So I mean, actually, I first saw drifting. I went to this
Good man.
some car show with my mom. Actually, I was in like 2000.
Good on her.
It was like 2003. I think I was.
Mom's taking you to a car show,
Oh shit! Thank you.
putting in the work.
How old was that? Well, anyways, it was way before I got my license. Went to this car show in Fontana Speedway, and they had the Falcon cars out doing like demos.
Falcon
in the middle of this-
show-off?
Yeah, it was just like a little demo with the. I think it's the S15, the FD, and Mustang. And it's like first time I ever saw drifting, and it was like, yo, this is dope. But
What year?
2003. I forgot what the show was.
Okay,
Yeah,
well that is the golden year.
That was
Yeah, like,
Falcon
it
Drift
was-
Show-Off.
it was-
That's the year that
Uchi drove at
every
that one,
single
right?
person, every drifter was born in 2003.
right.
Realistically, right? I mean, maybe if you're
Yeah.
super OG, it was 2002 and 1, but realistically, like 2003 popped the bubble. Because that's when D1 showed up. That's when all the Falcon Drift
And you gotta
show-offs
remember,
happened.
like, people don't realize that, like, we didn't have Google on our phones back then, and the internet
Yeah.
didn't have that much information, and YouTube didn't exist, and there was no other way to see
Street
drifting
Fire.
Yeah.
unless you found like random option videos down in a store in whatever Japan.
Yeah.
Whatever part that is in downtown. Is it actually Japantown? Is that what they call it?
Japantown? J-Town?
J-Town?
Little Tokyo.
Little Tokyo.
something
Yeah,
I hope
whatever.
you edit you saying Japantown like 5
Japantown.
times.
Either way, whatever. That'd be the only place you'd find
like,
it.
YouTube was around, but it
In
wasn't-
2003, it wasn't. It came around in 2007.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube was
man,
not
that was
out.
a long
You
time
couldn't.
ago then.
Stream.
I'm
There
all
wasn't. There
tripping.
wasn't good streaming enough streaming.
Street Fire.
Like, you didn't have the good enough
StreetFire.net,
internet
bro.
to
That was the
stream
thing.
videos. Yeah, Street Fire.
And you
yeah.
had to have a special coding because every time I brought it up, it just showed like blurry something.
Yeah, it wasn't. You couldn't get video that good on the internet back then, so
I was
there
10
wasn't a
during
way to
this age.
spread it around. You couldn't just go viral like with drifting clips. You know, it was like you had to be into this stuff, and then you somehow, we found out about it because they started coming to California. Same here. Everybody was kind of born when when D1 GP came out here and kind of like blew everyone's mind. And I think 2002 was the first one, right?
Oh.
With when Ueno won it who was the HKS driver? Damn it, I'm pulling a blank. Drove the HKS S15 back in the day.
That was way before.
Yeah.
I
That's
I only
before
hear
your
about
time?
those days when like Gary
Yeah.
talks about it.
Aging
And
yourself
like we'll
hard,
pull up
bro.
videos and like
Aging
Gary's
yourself
like,
hard.
"Oh, look, that's
Yeah.
me." But yeah, like I wish I was because you did one of the invitationals, right? The driver search.
I did I did 3 driver searches actually. I crashed the crap out of my Z at the first one
Hell yeah.
at California Speedway.
My guy.
I saw Forsberg go in, and like they had this water barrier going along the wall there, and it was like a
Like the inner bank coming into the
no.
inner bank?
This is at California Speedway in the
Oh.
parking lot.
Okay, where they were
So-
doing like drift day stuff.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And there was that K rail out there that was like sort of separating the parking lots and stuff, but it was facing the other way, so they put a huge water barrier in front of it. So I saw Forsberg come in and like do this big old feint and feint into it, and I was like, oh, I could probably do that.
Oh,
I come in there with my stock Z and I go to feint, and it just doesn't step out. It just kind of like ends up
just
going
gripped up,
straight into
yeah.
the barrier, and I just drove straight into it, mashed up my whole front end.
That's the worst.
Did like a terrible lap, and then as I was driving away from the track, some dude just like yelled, "He's like, dumbass!" Like,
Hell
I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, this is great." So, and then
Crashes are good. I
then
like
I
crashes.
then I came back two driver searches later and got my D1 license in the stock Z at Irwindale, and I hope that guy was there.
Was that the?
I hope that guy who yelled "dumbass" was there to watch me get my D1 license, because I
Nice,
guarantee you he probably never got a D1 license.
Yeah.
Was that the video you just posted the
yeah,
other day?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
Charlie was driving that, right?
What's that?
Charlie.
Yeah. Oh, he was driving back
he
then.
wrecked his
Yep.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
we
S13,
came across the
I
video.
think.
like,
Yeah.
And it's like Chris Moltz, you were in there, and then
that was the
Forsberg.
2005 D1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in that.
You-
I was
you
in that.
drove-
Yeah. That's
This,
when I
no,
first.
this was 05. Yes, February of 05. Yeah.
This was I remember meeting Charlie there, and then I was driving a borrowed, what is it, the Celica
Team
Supra.
borrowed, dude.
Oh yeah.
Celica
Team borrowed.
Supra.
Nice.
I was one of the only idiots that kept driving a Celica Supra back then.
Oh.
Yeah, so terrible. So that was the one where you were driving down the hill, and Keiichi like designed it to where you like had to initiate right off of that bump.
Oh,
Is that the
man.
one? In the
No,
parking
this
lot.
February 2005 was at that was at Irwindale.
Oh, okay.
The earlier one
not
that
the
you're
one I was
talking
in.
about was I think it's when Kwok Lee got his license.
Dunno.
That's the one where I crashed.
Quackley, I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard that name a lot.
He
I don't think
got
I've
his
ever
D1
met him.
license with
Yeah.
a KAS13
I heard that.
non-turbo.
I heard he was like
I had to find him.
just beasting it
Yeah.
on
Where
the, on
you
the
at,
Irwindale
boy?
bank
Yeah.
with the KA.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
awesome.
he was a badass.
Yeah, dude,
I
Kwok's a
love it.
badass, man.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
is.
Yeah, I think he kind of not phased out, but like he was one of the drivers that, you know, like one of the OGs that was like, you know, in the game before, but like once I got in, was already kind of out of it. So,
right,
but
so-
I've definitely heard the name a lot. So.
Back to your story, because Andy tried to take it over, being the
Shut
Andy show. All right, so your mom took you to a car show.
Yeah, so I mean, I saw drifting, but it was kind of one of those things where, I mean, like, I'm just going to guess and say I was like 13. I can't do the math right now, but saw it and it was cool, but I was hanging around with guys that were more into Hondas and stuff in high
sorry.
school. You know, like my
Running with a
one of my
bad
best friends,
crowd.
yeah. Yeah, those street racers.
Those
you
damn
know.
punks.
Still in DVDs and such.
Fast and
Yeah.
Furious.
Yeah.
Their Hondas on the
Trucks,
freeway.
three spoon engines, you know, Motec exhaust. But
Money.
Yeah.
so I ended up, my first car was the RSX, and then, you know, pretty much learned how to work on cars with that car. You know, learned how to work on cars and was going up to like GMR, doing like canyon runs and stuff a lot. Dude, we were going like
Hondas
4 or
aren't
5
really the
times
car
a
to
week.
learn on, though, right? They don't really break too often.
Well, it's more of like they're easy to modify. All the parts
Yeah.
are interchangeable, so it's like it's
You're
cheap.
trying out different wings and different
Well, I mean, like-
rear license
No, no,
plate
no, I
things.
never-
You're right.
But yeah, like
That's
putting
what
a
you-
header
Oh,
on
the
one is
the little
relatively
bracket
easy,
bar that
putting
goes in the
intakes
back
on.
that said the DC bar that
Oh,
always
yeah.
went in the back.
Oh,
yeah,
the
yeah.
little tie
DC
bar
Sports.
things.
Yeah. You definitely didn't work on your motor much, probably. I doubt it.
Well, no, so
Yeah, yeah.
that was my first
When
motor
you have a
swap.
BMW
first
like
motor
Andy,
build, you know,
learn
first
how to work on stuff.
a lot of things, you know, with that car.
Yeah.
All right.
So
all
I learned
right.
a lot, definitely. Trying to think rear wheel.
Yeah.
my
What
first-
what saved you?
My first rear wheel drive
like you found
was
Jesus.
an
Yeah.
FC.
Oh, hey, high five.
The most terrible car I've
Exactly.
ever owned.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so I
Yep.
I daily that car
Still
while I
have
was
mine.
building. So I was building the RSX. The motor is like, you know, on jack stands in the driveway. Fucking.
Hey, I had
neighbors pissed
hair
off.
before I got my RX-7. That's how that will do you. Terrible.
I will say
Terrible.
the chassis are nice. I like the
Yeah.
chassis, but dude,
That
that
little
was
devil
like
inside there.
that was the
You went from the
worst
most
car
reliable
ever.
thing to
Yeah,
like the worst,
basically,
absolute worst.
basically. So I was
That's what
working
taught you
at
how to work on
America's
a car.
Tire. Like my first job was at America's Tire. That's the only car I've ever owned that when I drove to work in the morning, I did not know if I was going to be able to drive that thing home that night. Dude, just getting it started in the morning, you know, you got to fucking crank it and then like
Yeah.
pull the fuel pump fuse,
Yep,
keep
yep,
cranking
yep.
it, just get some
Yeah.
heat
Oh,
in
wait,
it
wait.
and then
So
get
you
it
never
started.
ran a switch inside the car to turn your fuel pump on and off?
I always just pulled the relay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you actually got out of the car, popped the hood,
Yeah,
pulled
I
that
was
out.
young.
Okay.
Now, yeah, I would.
No,
mess with
yeah,
them.
totally.
Well,
You gotta have a
nowadays,
switch.
I wouldn't even mess with it. But
Yep,
it
I
is
got a
what it
1J
is.
in mind. Stay away from that guy. Sorry, Kyle.
I remember that car at like All-Star Bash and stuff. So, you still have that?
Yeah, man, I still got that thing.
Dude.
I might take it to Drift Week on Sunday.
Nice.
So,
It actually runs right now?
Kind of.
It's got a
I don't know
Jay-Z.
where
It's
it's running.
Yeah,
better
it's
run.
I mean, yeah, it is down a cylinder, but it still starts and still runs, still can drift. You
Dude,
know,
that's fine.
Once
Dude,
you're on boost, it's making full boost. It's fine.
Robbie was down 2 cylinders at Long Beach one year, qualified, just
For sure.
jetted up, shitload of nitrous, and
There you
ran the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
My boost.
Yeah, you don't need
Nice,
horsepower
nice.
for long.
All right,
Beach,
so you're in an RX-7.
yeah,
What's the next step?
just doing dumb stuff, donuts.
How old
not
are you at
really
this point?
knowing. Maybe 19? 19, I
It's
think.
pretty young. Yeah, it's about the same time that we got into it. Same too. Yeah, 19's like the magic year, I think, to like kind of get into it. Get
You have a
serious
few
about
dollars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
gas
I was
back
working
then.
like 3 jobs.
What was gas? $1.85 maybe.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
yeah. I miss those days.
Mm-hmm.
You could throw $10 and go up to Mount Wilson and make it home, kind of.
That's what it was. Like $20, run the canyons,
Yep.
drive all the way home
If
to
you
Long
are a
Beach and-
canyon runner now, you must be rich.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right, to go just
dude.
waste $100 to
Like
go.
even just
Yeah.
cruising
Yeah.
up there, but like, dude, we used to
Yeah.
go up like 11
You're
p.m.
right.
because
I
that's when
forgot
all
about
like
that.
no bikes up there. The
I've
cops
been
are
up
coming
there
down,
forever.
and then
Yeah.
like run till like 3 in the morning. But now,
Exactly.
no way. Yeah, that's
You know, it
too much
reminds
money.
me, is an Arizona can still 99 cents? Because that wasn't the jam.
I think it is. Yeah.
We'd always go
Pretty
to
sure.
7-Eleven, get
That's a
the
good
Arizona
question.
99
I don't
cent
remember
can.
seeing, it's like that
But has
sticker
that
right
gone
at the
up
top.
with? Yeah, exactly. Has that
I
gone
don't
up with
remember seeing
inflation?
that.
So if you get that Arizona can and then you get your Costco hot dog, it's just like living in 1992 again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ballin'.
Golden
yeah.
years.
All right, so somehow you found yourself to a
Yeah,
racetrack.
When did you end up on a track?
All right, so by that time, so basically what motivated me to get more into rear-wheel drive was once I started working with Gary. He was handling all the Achilles, well, basically the two-car team with Robbie and Daigo.
How'd you meet Gary? And how'd you end up there?
So through my Honda friends.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
like-
Gary was Honda boy
So,
as well and drag racing.
The older
Some
brother
Honda
that I was
boys.
talking about, of my best friend growing up, he was like in a Accord, but then he finally got some money, got a.
Do we got any
S2000.
questions over there yet with all this Honda stuff talking? I'm sure there's somebody.
Well,
Probably.
I promise
Check your phone.
we'll get past it.
Yeah.
But
He keeps bringing it up. I don't know.
hey, man, you gotta remember where you
How
came
many people
from.
we got watching live?
Let's see. 7.
7.
Hi, to all
I should-
7 of
I
you.
should-
Hey.
I should share this. But so he had the older brother got a S2000, and then Gary was running the C West S2000, the time attack one.
Yeah.
So he was buying a lot of parts from Gary.
Okay.
So I would cruise down with him to Gary's shop when he would drop his car off or pick up parts or whatever. And that's pretty much how I met Gary.
Pick apart.
And then at that time, Gary's shop was in like Golden West, off like right off the 405 on Golden West. And I was going to Golden West Community, taking some automotive classes. And after class, I would just cruise by, you know.
Wait,
see
are
what's
you
up.
a,
I would
are
be that
you a
annoying
UTI
kid.
guy?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they had like that Honda Pack program that I was doing.
He probably,
All right, I'm sorry. I'll tone it down.
Too much Honda talk, dude.
Too much Honda
Hey,
talk.
you guys,
Yeah,
you guys
we're
wanted to
gonna-
go
we're gonna
back
lose
that far.
followers,
Yeah,
dude.
you want to go back that
Yeah.
far. But all right, so anyway, yeah, would just show up to the shop, be that annoying young kid that would just
Yep.
hang around, and then Gary.
That's weird because I thought you got into drifting before you met Gary for
No,
some reason.
it's. I mean, I always liked drifting,
yeah.
but
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, like it was pretty much because he was running that program with Achilles.
Yeah. Yeah.
At that time, I was going to school, working a couple jobs. One of them was America's Tire, and I actually took the day off early one event. That was Las Vegas, 2012, I think. Cruised out with a coworker, Vegas, to catch the race or whatever. And Gary, or the tire guy, I guess, just kind of bounced, and they needed someone to change tires. I just happened to be there, so it's like right place, right time.
Oh,
Yeah.
step in.
So started changing tires with
Just like Ricky Bobby again, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I
Step
just went
on
out there
in.
for fun, and then ended up.
Can anybody change these tires?
Like Daigo's going through them like
Yeah,
crazy. We
basically-
need someone to
basically
Yeah,
what it
suckers out.
was. Dude. So
I know this kid. Do this.
started changing tires at Vegas,
Yeah.
and then they pretty much just brought me on the program
Wow.
for the next year, and then so was that 2013?
That's crazy.
Did you get paid?
Yeah,
Were you balling
it
on
wasn't much.
some
but,
tire
I
changing
mean, it was
bucks?
what it was.
This is a weird path because like normally someone who would be changing tires would like they'd be into drifting before they would end up in changing tires.
So I guess
for
I
Achilles
kind
or
of
something.
because that was that was 2013. So
Yeah.
I was by that time I was
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
you
being
still
I was
have-
kind of like an apprentice.
You had the
with Gary.
RX-7 still.
Well, the RX-7 fucking that
Yeah.
thing was sitting in
Yeah.
Gary's
Yeah.
lot for
Yeah.
Yeah.
for a while,
Jack
just
stands.
dead. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need a new motor. Apex Hills.
Yeah.
But I ended up buying an S13, KA stock S13.
Yep. Finally, the new savior.
And then I started going to Just Drift events.
Cool.
So everybody, all the guys that were helping Gary with that program, with the cars, were pretty much all the guys that were helping Charlie with the track events with Just Drift. So I started going out to those events, hanging around, and then eventually got my own S13. Blew it up at All Star Bash 2012, I believe.
How much did you pay for
That was
your
a good All-Star
S13?
bash.
That was. Sorry, what was that?
How much did you pay for your S13?
Oh, that's a good question.
You thinking like $1,000, $2,000
It,
maybe?
yeah, it might have been
Before
like 2 or
drift
3
tax?
grand. Yeah, but it was definitely before. And I mean, it wasn't bad.
S13 right now is a kidney.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of hate Z's, but it's kind of the move. Z's are like an E36.
Yeah, newer cars are the move. I mean, they are what was our car back then, right?
I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, you're kind of just following the market. Whatever's cheap and makes sense. It's
well, what is it?
It's
it's basically probably 15 to 20 years old, is what you need, right?
Yeah. But then once they start getting popular, people kind of catch wind. Then
but a 350Z right now is still possibly $5,000 to purchase and just drive.
Oh yeah, I was
actually going up,
I was gonna get one. I was trying to trade my stock KA one for a Z. And crazy thing is, people were down, and it's just like that's so dumb, man. Like,
yeah, it's a retarded drug. I don't know if you can say retarded anymore, but it's a retarded drug.
Yeah, I don't think that's
PC
anymore.
PC.
But I get what you mean.
It's you just see an old S13, hatchback with some pop-up lights, and you're like, woo! Give me the drugs.
Yeah, it's
take my money.
It's just one of those cars, and they're solid starting points for drifting.
Yeah, I mean, they are.
The market, as far as parts is there.
It's what we saw and grew up on, Freaking Takumi made it cool. All those dudes made him freaking cool. I was never a Corolla guy, luckily.
Yeah, I never got. I wish I did, just because I feel like a lot of the Corolla guys developed.
We got some All-Star Bash 2012 right here.
All right,
there we go.
Yeah,
sweet. I think that was the year that Achilles brought out the rig.
Oh yeah.
And we were playing like beer pong in front of the.
So, unfortunately.
So for you guys watching the live stream, we are now staring at ASB 2012.
From the
Andy's gonna hook you up.
Winding highway.
And if you guys got some dumb questions, please ask them away.
Actually, I'm gonna share this live.
Look at those beat up cars. They probably didn't cost that much yet. We're like, drifting's not gonna go big. Oh, who's that idiot?
Oh,
that
man.
You? Oh, that is
Yep.
Powers.
CX
Powers.
Racing S14.
I don't recognize anybody else.
How do we get Matt
Oh, is that
Powers
Mickey?
back?
That was
The
Eric
white-
Hill right there. Yeah, that was probably Mickey. Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is when I was like just starting to get in with and starting to meet a lot of
Taka.
the Just Drift guys.
Taka.
Dang, I missed.
That car's probably like a 50
Formula
grand
Drift
car right there.
version of Taka.
Very expensive Corolla. That
Horsey,
dude was
man, I love
The bright
Horsey.
light right there.
Is that Jason or Jason Kim's VQ car?
What's that?
Oh no, the.
Oh, yeah,
I
probably
think it
was Kim's VQ
J
car.
Kim, J Kim 0901.
The live stream has not moved to oh no, it has. Okay, never mind.
So I don't know if I drove this year.
Oh, Hillkill said that's me.
Yeah. Oh, Hill's watching?
Make ASB great again.
Seriously, though.
Yo.
Hot Pit needs to take over AFSB, I think.
Boss Media
That was
says
like-
he's got dumb things to ask for
Like
days.
back
Go ahead,
then,
bro, ask.
ASB was kind of like the one event of the year. Like
That really
you
counted.
just everybody kind of just looked forward to that because it was the end of the FD season. Kind of just like wrap up the whole year, just have fun with the homies, drive with the pro guys.
I just saw
2-day
Matt
drift
Perkins.
event. Dude, that was back when they had like the team tandem, like the night drift.
That's a
That got wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah,
rowdy.
the team tandem.
Oh,
Hey, look at, there you go, Hill.
Yo.
Speaking of team tandem, real quick, Andy, what the hell is this?
That's a Formula Drift champion trophy
2007.
from 2007 from FD Team Drift.
Show the live stream people this. You guys don't know that Andy's actually been in this game for a long time, and he's got this trophy from 2007.
That's pretty dope. Who's on your team?
That was Retax, actually. Team
Oh my
Retax.
God! Did you have a
Believe it or
backpack?
not.
Yeah, did you get a backpack, dude?
Believe it or not, I do have a Retax backpack.
No way. That's a urban myth, dude. Urban legend. Oh, dude.
You
That was
backpack, nice.
so that S13, the VQ supercharged one, Brian Bridges. I beached the hell out of that thing at what's it called? At Balcony. That was actually the first car I ever drifted at the track at Balcony. Charlie.
Was
you
it
know,
still
they're
short balcony, or was it long but big balcony?
it was long balcony, but that car had I think
Oh,
700 horsepower, supercharged VQ. Charlie and Hung and all those guys were running it, and like they were supposed to be the instructors or like helping, Dude, they're like, oh yeah, this car, you know, it's an FD car, 5th gear, no problem at balcony. I'm young, stupid, I don't know how to drift. I'm like, all right, well, if 5th gear's what it is, like, cool, let's do it. Going down the straight, boom, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, I'm like, oh no way.
Hold on, Andy, what is that? Hold the phone. What? Hold on. Show the live screen. Turn this around.
This is what happens when you don't have ad blockers.
Oh my God, Andy, what in the heck?
That is
Enlarged
some enlarged prostate ads.
Bro,
Jeez.
what have you been Googling
I have
and
no
YouTubing
idea.
lately?
Here it's all just tracks and stuff for a setup.
Oh my God. No, your home
man.
stuff is caught up to you. Is that the Earth and the Moon right here? And I don't know what's below there and what that man is about to do to
Yeah,
himself.
what is he doing?
I don't. It looks.
I
like
don't wanna
he's
know.
a-
I don't even wanna know.
God, Andy, move on.
No, it looks somewhat religious. I'm not sure.
This may be a
cult.
religious thing.
Yeah, some sort of cult thing going on.
I'm not joining it, but
Yeah.
holy moly, bro.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Man, look at
somebody.
that, running the wall.
Oh yeah, I did a little
Where is-
tappy tap. That's
Is that Seattle?
Yeah,
Oh,
Seattle. That one time when it
Last
rained.
time.
Yeah, that was on my second lap on track too, because we didn't
Like
get any.
that?
Yeah, we didn't get any practice. I've driven it. I never driven it in the wet before. I driven it in the dry a bunch, but never in the wet.
California problems.
And
pretty much.
that was the time that that we had like relay issues, and I was under the car with like working on it with like 2 inches of water flowing under.
Oh, that's always fun. Were you up in the dirt?
No, we were down in the
Oh,
bottom.
at least you had
Yeah.
asphalt.
Yeah, but it was literally like a fucking like.
Yeah.
You always get
2
the
inches
rivers.
of water. Yeah, no, they know where to put me.
Seattle
Yeah,
pit
yeah.
area isn't the greatest.
It's
No,
gotten
it's
better
not.
over the years, though. It was actually way
This mic
worse a
is
few years ago.
tightened down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually did add some pavement to Washington. What are you doing over there, bro? Are we having a
Yeah,
technical
here's like a-
difficulty?
No, I'm just tightening up the little thing right here.
All the cameras are working now. The microphones are being funny.
That's all right. Best
Sweet.
part is I can cut all that out.
No, leave that
We're
in there.
live.
Leave it all in.
We're live.
All the
Do
things.
we have any
these-
questions
are
yet?
these-
They're
These
not.
guys-
They're not listening through the mic.
They don't want to ask us
we,
any
they're not
They're
questions.
not hearing all this stuff.
Just waiting for a
It's a
question.
good question. You're
I've been
supposed
trying
to be
to
doing that on there
save
because my
this,
screen is
or,
sideways and it's really hard to
share it.
read stuff sideways because then I have to read it like Japanese writing, vertical.
I can't even find it.
Lost Media wants to know when I'm going to say all the subscribers.
When you
I think that kind of happened already. Didn't really happen. Can you stop bringing that up? 'Cause I don't want to do it.
What
You
is
said
this?
a
I don't
lot
want to do it.
What is this?
on the
Alright.
first episode, he said he was going to say every single YouTube subscriber's name
Oh,
on the next episode.
I
And
didn't think we'd get 201
we got like
freaking
200
things.
something.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
You can't make promises
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
keep, man.
No way, bro.
You're gonna have to do that at some point.
It was all my.
So,
it was an
better
all
do it
evil,
now
my
before
part
it
of my
starts
evil
racking up.
plot. To
I
get people to
said like
subscribe.
20 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you said more. You said more than 20. You
yeah.
said a lot.
I just
Yeah.
like gibbered
Yeah.
through most of
Yeah.
them. Yeah, that was terrible. Very terrible. All right. So we've gotten
back on
mostly
track.
through to your career.
Mm-hmm.
Let's jet through a little bit more. So you
Okay.
became a pro spec driver.
Yes.
Well,
I
let's
did.
start. Let's. We haven't even got to
How did he achieve? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
guess
you
so
achieved it
this,
through
this
Top
kinda,
Drift.
This kind of ties into it. So got the S13. Ended up blowing the motor at I think it was 2013. Also,
as we
Bash.
all do.
It wasn't 2012. We just watched the 2012.
Yeah,
one.
I
You're
thought
gonna-
it was
Blow the
2012, but
motor.
after watching that video,
Damn it!
it was 2013.
How dare you?
Yeah. So
No, that was a good video. I'm glad we watched it. It's
yeah.
okay.
So blew the motor, swapped in an SR, and then blew that SR. It was going to drift events, but Top Drift. Do you guys remember they came out with like the Top Drift Limited? So kind of like I guess like the street series where it's not Pro-Am, but it was just more of like a fun, not any licensing or anything, but more just a fun competition.
Maybe?
But more street car oriented, I guess.
Okay.
Not as like
I do remember
not as crazy.
it. Yeah.
Pro-Am drivers that podiumed in Top Drift Pro-Am couldn't run it, so they were
It
basically
was like you couldn't. You could only have a turbo or a supercharger if the car came with it. You couldn't.
Yeah,
you couldn't
it
do
was more
upgraded
like
turbo.
street class
I think like you had
rules.
SR stock turbo would be like eligible.
I think turbo. I think it was mainly just the motor had to be offered in
G-stock.
that car.
You
yeah.
could upgrade
Okay.
your turbos and stuff.
I'm
or like
pretty sure, but it was limited to tire size, I believe, or
Okay.
maybe tread wear.
Okay.
I forget.
yeah.
But anyway, that kind of took out all of the top or the Just Drift clinic days. in Charlie's schedule. So I never really had any desire to compete, I guess. But since it took up all the clinic days, I was like, well, I might as well just drive it because, there's no more like open drift days, I guess you could say.
Basically the clinic.
Yeah.
And probably by 2012, there was no more drift days.
Yeah,
right?
Drift day had already when I got into it, Drift Day, it was already phased out, and it was mainly just like just Drift was the
Drift buffet was gone. There was no AVS, so it's pretty much what you were doing.
Pretty much, hanging around with all the Just Drift guys.
Trying to think of who else was
626 Drift.
Yeah,
626.
That was a thing.
That was Charlie and 626, and I want to say that was it.
I'm sure there was somebody else.
In SoCal,
Slide Factory.
pretty much, I mean,
Slide
for me,
Factory,
Just Drift was the main.
It was the hub back in then.
It's a balcony event, Source Thief.
Yep,
had some golden years for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad I came in at that time because, like I was saying earlier, the vibe at the events was so different. Like everybody back then either already knew each other or, like if there's a new guy at the track, everybody was so open and like helpful and all that stuff. Whereas now I feel like everybody's kind of clicked up. So it's kind of weird. I don't know.
Clicky?
It's just, you could go up to someone, back then and at a drift event you didn't know and just start chopping it up with them. Everybody's so cool and open. But now it's like you go up and talk to someone you don't know, they're kind of like, oh, who's this? I don't know this guy, whatever. Or
I haven't got to make it out to a lot of
weird.
events lately, outside of my own, so it's been tough.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah?
I mean,
I'm just going to start going up to random. If I can make it out to an event, I'm going to go up to every random sucker and just start BSing. We got to break the clicks.
I mean, that's how
Drift Wizard
that's how
about to come out and rain hell.
But
yeah,
it's
Drift
just,
Wizard,
redo
it.
Like I said, just the vibe's different. I don't know. So
we got to change the vibe.
Yeah. Or
Drifters,
just start bringing back old school events like that.
Start BSing with your neighbors, man.
Yeah, man.
Is it because cars aren't breaking as much? Because before we were all borrowing tools.
I try and show new drivers that. Like I remember in Prospect Robert Thorne, the guy who won the championship, he was like really surprised how helpful everyone was because I lent him some parts that he needed something, and I was like, oh yeah, dude, take this, take that, like whatever. And and like he comes from a road racing world where like they'll section off their tents like if they do any work on the car because they don't want you to see even what kind of parts you have on the car.
If you're looking at another competitor's car, that's kind of like dude, like what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like if you just stop at their pits and be like, oh, like what's going on here? What you guys like that's not cool in like road racing world, It's,
and like, it's the camaraderie in
drifting. It's pretty cool, but you're right. Like over the years, like the more serious it gets. I mean, there's some pro teams that are pretty, that are pretty quiet about what they do.
I mean, like once you get to that level, I mean, it's kind of understandable.
They don't hide it, but the thing is, most of them sell most of the parts.
That's true.
But they don't tell you how to set them up right.
Or they won't give you their secret sauce.
No, exactly. Yeah. Like
that.
you can buy all the RTR like nice stuff, but they're not going to give you like the secret sauce stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember Trenton bought all that stuff. Trenton Beecham, and he put it all in his car, and he's like, I can't make this work, so he threw all his other stuff back on.
I guess I get that.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is that side of it, but I guess more of what I'm talking about is more on the grassroots level. It's not really like it was. But I will say, with drifting, it's unlike any other sport where, like if someone you're paired up with, say, like you just did qualifying and the guy you paired up with in top 16 is broken or, broke a steering rack or something, and you had those parts, he's running the same chassis, like, the majority of the guys are gonna, hey, I got it. I don't need it. Like, take it. I'd rather.
I mean, you still see it even in Pro 1 with like Rome and Travis.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you see other teams jumping on, other
I'm not
teams'
saying
cars.
Everyone is hiding all the sauce, but
no, for sure, it's still there.
Some teams do decide, hide little sections, little portions of sauce here.
I mean, if someone wrecks in Pro 1, it's usually there's like 4 other teams helping whoever it is.
Oh yeah,
unless it's like the Vaughn team, the RTR, they don't need any help. They have 500 people.
Pop Dalkus ever help out other people?
Yeah, he does.
He did back in the day. I mean,
they
gave me Tanner's spare differential in 2007 at where is it? Summit Point, West Virginia, when FD was running there. I blew up my diff, and they gave me their spare. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, just
pay
me when we get back to LA.
Yeah.
When we were running the cars in Achilles, I mean, I think we've used Steph's welder a few times and stuff.
Yeah, no, he's always seemed like to me.
You know,
pretty
everyone
helpful.
talks crap about my little Lincoln electric welder. Every team in FD
Or
has
like a
used it.
110.
Yeah, little 110 Magnaflux. Everyone
That's all
talks
get
shit.
down.
Yeah, it's flux core.
Oh,
man.
gross.
Everyone talks crap.
I hate
but
anybody that knows me
everyone
knows I
has
hate
used
Mig.
it at some
I need
point.
to wash my hands. now.
Yep. No, Falcon has ran over. They're like, "Oh, you got that welder, Jeff?" Yeah, bro.
I
Let me
want to
bust
say
down.
about half the prospect teams have used my welder too, but it's not
MIG
flux.
is
Ugh,
okay
gross.
if you're trackside and you just need to get
Gross.
back on track.
No, literally,
but
it is like legit trackside on that little tiny Honda generator. That you love Honda, so a little tiny
hell
guy.
yeah. VTEC generator or what?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think, well, it's got the little auto throttle on it, so it's kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
kicking VTEC when it like throttles up. But yeah,
Over here messing around with the choke and
we've been on that thing multiple times. Yep. I know Cash has used it. Taylor Hall recently used it. And I think neither of them had glasses when they were trying to use this. They're like triple sunglassing it up.
Sunglasses.
Yeah. No, they've all used that sucker. No, man, I feel like at least maybe because all the pro teams are old school teams, so they still have that camaraderie scenario.
Yep.
I mean, this
Maybe
is,
the new guys aren't as much.
I think that's what draws a lot of people into drifting. Is just it's different, and you have that camaraderie or whatever you want to call it.
Well, also, like, the thing is like the amount of people that are into drifting has grown so much since back then.
That's what the
and
other
like
thing I was going to bring up.
every time your population grows with anything that you're doing, there's going to be a certain percentage of people that are idiots and assholes. So
Definitely
you're gonna get drifters around that are idiots now, and you're gonna get more drifters around that are assholes now.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that are going to stand out, like that.
Yeah.
Like, what was wrong
Well, so
with that
the
guy?
bigger thing is,
I still hope that's
But
a bite later
with
on
any
because that needs to be a
population.
bite.
That's with like figure skating or or archery or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. If a bunch of people get into it, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get this 10% or 5% that are just fucking dicks.
Yeah.
Like
People are
just
assholes,
dicks.
dude.
And,
There's
like,
no
you know
getting
what I
around
mean?
that.
Like it's like
We're
You know?
losing subscribers right now as you speak.
oh yeah, what happened? No, I mean it's
bunch of
whatever they might be. Screw them. We don't want them.
The other thing
We want the
I was
good
actually going to bring it
people.
up before we started rolling, but that was kind of the point I was making with. I was saying I was pretty fortunate to get into drifting on the tail end of like kind of the OG guys.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that kind of showed me, how it was and kind of passed that mindset or what have you down to me. So I kind of brought that along with me. Whereas like the guys that are coming in, a lot of the OG guys have phased out.
Yeah.
They've gotten
you also got into
new
it
careers or started
Yeah.
got families or whatever.
Babies. I'm blaming it on the babies.
But, yeah. But there's nobody really around to kind of show show these new guys coming in like how drifting was or like that side of drifting.
Yeah.
So like they're getting into it just the cool factor or whatever, but they're totally missing out on that kind of community sense of what drifting used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it still is, but
and being into cars before drifting and knowing Gary and working on cars and stuff, you already had like all the core things.
That's
like the pillars that are going to keep you afloat in the world of drifting already there. Like when I got into it, I didn't know how to fucking work on cars. I didn't know shit. My shit would break, and I'm like, I don't know what to fucking do. What is
just
I gotta buy
figure it out.
tools. Like, what's going
But
on?
that's
now?
the thing is like other guys in the
You know?
community that were around, it's like they went through the same thing. So there's this kind of transfer of knowledge and this willingness to help out and transfer that knowledge and help other people out because you went through that.
Yeah. No, I had a kind of an educator in that sense, but he turned out to be a terrible roommate, and then turned out to be a meth addict. So
Oh man.
I had to not be friends with him anymore.
Wow.
But that's where I got my basis of like learning like basic little
That's a
mechanics.
dark
Your
turn.
current
That's a
roommate
real
here
dark
right
turn
now.
there, dude.
No, not this roommate. This is a long time ago, and he moved out, and then I was kind of on my own, and I sort of had to learn everything by myself. I didn't have like anyone to kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't have that like uncle to show me the way.
So like I said, I'm super fortunate. Like Gary,
man.
shout
Dude,
out to
Gary's the
Gary,
best,
Design
dude.
Craft Fab.
He's the
so,
best.
I mean, that guy has, he took me in and basically, I was the same way. I didn't know fuck about shit with cars.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
pretty much anything fabrication wise. And then, Pete, Big Chinese Pete, Dilo Pete.
Yep.
he taught me a lot about fabrication and just, taking pride in your work,
Yep. And Gary's not just like, there's people that are good at fabricating, there's people that are good at welding. Like Gary's got like the crazy problem solving skills. He's a very intelligent dude.
Gary, for those that don't know, Gary is the Filipino MacGyver.
Like
basically.
seriously though.
No lie.
Wait, isn't that most of them though?
The what?
I feel like that's most Filipinos.
No, Gary's on like a different level.
Because
Like,
Calvin Areola
yeah.
is on that like,
Oh, yeah?
I will figure
like
this
that.
out
Yeah,
with
like
like a
that.
piece
He
of
is.
paper,
Yeah.
a freaking a
I've
toothpick.
seen him weld with 2 batteries before.
Yeah.
He's like, give me 2 batteries and 2 jumper cables.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. We have never been somewhere
Maybe
stuck
that's
that we
just
could
the
not get out
Filipino
of.
mindset.
Yeah.
But like, just you know what I mean. You figure out a way.
Yeah.
Whatever you got, you use your like within your
Yep.
means. Just figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that drive.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I mean, what were we talking about before?
Just pretty much how you got started. Gary helping you out.
Oh yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
that's pretty much like
we're pretty much stroking Gary's
Probably-
ego pretty much for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah,
there.
he's
A little bit
probably
too much.
watching this,
a little
like,
bit too much too.
yeah,
We'll just cut all.
yeah.
No, we'll cut all this
Yeah,
shit
cut
out.
that out.
Yeah, we'll just leave
Well,
it all.
all
out.
of this reminds me actually of not just drifting community, but also the car meets, right?
Oh yeah, car
The
meets
car-
used to be dope back
Yeah,
in
they
the
did.
day.
Same
man.
thing.
They
We just
did.
had
Actually,
30
dude,
cars
it's
that show up, and it was the
exactly
same
like that.
scenario, right?
Small community,
God, I miss
everybody
that.
was cool. It was like super chill,
And
low
one
key.
of the
Then
dudes
once it started
had
getting bigger and bigger,
a tool
then
bag
like,
in his
people burned the
car.
spot.
He was ready to like teach you or work on your car with
Yeah.
you right there in the spot, man.
That's
There
a
was
good
freaking
good
doing
point,
a turbo
yeah.
swap in the freaking car meet, like at a donut store.
dude.
And the
You guys-
canyons had a good scene back then too.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it wasn't blown up. There wasn't a ton
That's
of
the
people.
thing.
There was
And
a lot of
there was
respect.
respect,
Yeah,
man. Like if cars went down for a run, like guys would
Yeah.
wait and
Yeah.
respect it. Like
Yeah.
now you get guys that are just, a train goes down and 2 minutes later they'll finally decide to go and it's just like,
Yeah.
dude, they're coming back up.
yeah. Like that's
Like,
not
I
how
don't
that
know.
works.
It was just
Playing
there's
chicken.
a lot more mutual respect, I guess. So that's kind
Like,
of
like I said, more people, more assholes.
yeah.
You know.
I guess it's perfect
Yeah.
example, same
Yeah.
exact thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no getting around that. But I don't
Okay,
know. but-
okay, all right. So now,
Okay, yeah,
well,
yeah.
let's keep the ball
Get back-
rolling
back
here.
on
So
though.
he
track.
was on like S13.
Yeah. So we've made it into
You're
prospect.
drifting.
Well,
No, he hasn't
so,
made a prospect
So
yet.
I started doing the limited series.
All right.
Basically, and
Oh, you got to.
oh, this is actually a good one. So this is where Jason Kim comes in. So I was doing the limited
All right.
series
Jason's awesome.
SR car.
I miss seeing
I
that
ended
guy
up
so
getting on the podium in limited. But then I drove Jason's JZ car. This is the one he ran in Top Drift. It was it had the R32 front end. He let me take it out to one of the toy drifts, I think.
Is that still his current car?
No, so that's my Pro 2 car.
Oh.
yeah. So
Oh, okay,
kind of
okay.
getting into that. So basically, I was on like SR thing. I hate SRs now, but he let me drive the JZ car. Ruined my life. Took 2 laps. Like, Jason, I want this car. It was the
A
best.
similar thing happened to me.
Like,
I drove a JZ car and I was like, whoa. After all my rotary problems,
yeah.
like legit, you like, and this, I wish I would have just driven a V8 though, but at the same time,
I don't know about
drove
all
a
that,
JZ
but
car and was like, oh crap, displacement, turbo,
It
this
was,
works.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was stock twin, stock ECU, manual boost controller.
Yep.
I mean, what? Running rich as hell, maybe 260 to the wheels or whatever. But I mean, from an SR, that was a big jump. And yeah, basically just fell in love with JZ.
Finally, a
at that
motor
point.
with some balls.
Yeah. So ended up, he sold the front end. This is actually funny. So he had, he was running that car in Top Drift Pro-Am.
All right.
He sold the R32 front end, but basically he had to like chop it off. And he got a V8 car, V8 S14, because he said the JZ car wasn't competitive in Top Drift in Pro-Am. So he brought the car to Gary's and it was basically like, hey, just do the fab work on the car, do the front end, put the pop
So
up
was this
front end.
before Rival Autoworks?
This was when he already had Rival
Okay.
Autoworks, yeah. Like
But he
already had
doesn't
a
do
shop.
fab stuff then?
Well, I mean, Jason's recently started getting more into fab, but he was always more like kind of the mechanical engine swap,
okay.
wiring type of stuff. So yeah, he didn't really do any fab back then. So he brought the car to me and it was just like, tube the front end. You can run it for the season in Top Drift. I got this other S14 V8 car.
Ah.
And so that's kind of where I jumped into Pro-Am. But at that time, I was working with Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seeing like Robbie, where, you know, he's one of the drivers I respect a lot. He's taught me a lot over the years. But seeing a lot of the trouble and stuff and how expensive and all this, I never really had any desire to go into like FD or anything. But with Limited taking up all the clinic days or whatever with Just Drift, that's pretty much the only time I could get like actual track time.
Forced into it.
So I was just like, all right, well, Jason has the car. He'll let me borrow it. I'll just do the work, and I'll just, you know, jump into Pro-Am. So that was what, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good year. Had a lot of fun. First year in Pro-Am, ended up third overall.
It was 2016?
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, because I drove 2016
a
little bit too.
Yeah. Actually, funny story. I
Yeah.
drove practice with you at round 3, I believe, at Dirt Walt
Oval?
James. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't put my visor down, and I was
Yeah.
chasing you. I was totally on the wrong line.
Yeah.
Coming through the middle, you dirt drop,
Yeah.
threw a ton of rocks in my face, dude. And like I had to do the mid drift visor flip down, like rocks in my eyes.
Whoopsies.
I don't know why.
My bad.
I think about that a lot.
I did that with Ryan Literal once, actually. I forgot to visor
Yeah.
down at like Adams. We were doing
It's always the one run you forget to flip it down. And
And
get rocks in the
Once
face.
I feel like I do this
Just
all the
terrible.
time.
Terrible. That's why I
I
put windows
constantly
on
do
my
this.
car.
Oh, no, I
So
don't
now
have
I
that.
can.
No.
I don't even have to think about it.
Yeah. No, I'm usually
And
like
then
I can't drive with windows,
And then
though.
guess what? I
Yeah,
can
no.
go from tinted
Windows-
I hate
visor
it.
to regular visor, not get anything in my face.
No, in Washington's the worst because like you hit that, you know, the bank and you're just like flying and your eyes are crying. You're like, what?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
turn that sucker
yeah.
down and then go for it.
Like, yeah, tire and stuff's one thing. The smoke, you know, you'll get tire and stuff in the eye, but like, dude, you straight up through rocks, man. 'Cause, you know, Willow is just all dirt
He's coming
and rocks.
out, picking rocks out of his helmet.
dude. Like,
Why you dirt dropping, Andy?
I tried to stay with you, but I think
Yeah.
I ended up just like shutting it down
Yeah,
before I
yeah.
even got to the transition
Yeah.
because like I legit had to like wipe my
That
eyes
was in the
out, dude.
E30.
Yeah, the E30.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
It was all a trick. It was all my plan.
yeah, dude.
I saw him without his visor down.
Yeah, heat
Threw
heat
rocks
seeking-
right in
yeah.
his face. Yeah.
So ended up placing third, 2016. So first year Pro-Am, got my license, and I was working with Achilles at the time.
Yeah.
That was what, 2016. So I was with Achilles for 4 years by that time. Had no desire to do FD. Like didn't have the money. Didn't saw all the stress and stuff the drivers I knew were going through. So
Very stressed.
It'll
Yeah,
take years off
just-
your life.
tons of stress, tons of, you know, broken parts needing replacing, and yeah, just didn't really,
Credit card debt. Why are
Yeah.
you doing this?
especially now seeing the international guys. I feel for the international guys. Like I got so much respect for them. Like, because FD's hard. Showing up to an or running FD season is hard, but as an international driver, that is a whole different level. You know,
Not just the funding stuff, but just the jet lag. Like
with the jet lag,
Like-
plus you know, like the car's over here. You you don't have the luxury of testing before the event, So
working
you-
on it, figuring out how it
and
works.
you got to
all this
find
stuff.
a team that's taking care of the car if you're not flying early and doing it yourself,
Yeah, yeah.
which is even more expensive.
Yep.
But you have to be able to trust that a team's going to be able to do that work and and provide you with the car for when you show up. It's not
Yeah,
just
it's,
going to break.
it's not going to
or-
be your regular homies that normally work
Exactly.
on your car. You got to find people in another country. Like I don't know,
Exactly.
like what do you put like Craigslist ad? Like say if you were gonna, Jeff, let's just say you had
sucks.
an event in Ireland tomorrow. You're like, who do you call? Like,
Yeah.
you just like.
I mean,
Like-
it's just it sucks because I've seen a lot of international drivers kind of
Yeah.
get fucked over the years just because it's not cheap. You're paying a lot of money to have someone prep a car and all this stuff, but then like just seeing like guys show up and like either
I'm
cars
sure that's both
broken
sides,
or,
right? Either
you know.
either side of the pond.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot
It's
easier
just-
to do that with an international driver because they
Yeah.
can't exactly come by your shop and like check on the car, like make sure.
And the
it's
big thing
done.
is like the seat time too,
yeah.
because it's
Oh yeah.
most likely going to be a different car than what you're used to driving home.
Like realistically, should we talk about Mr. James Dean driving for RTR? I was gonna say like, realistically, how much seat time is he gonna get in that Mustang before he hits Long Beach? Probably not enough. I
mean, that's kind of.
I know he'll do all right,
but yeah,
for
that's,
sure.
That's,
he could win. I'm not saying anything against the man's skill at all. I'm just saying like the amount of time that he's going to get in that car before he hits the track on Long Beach is not going to be a whole lot.
I had high hopes for Adam.
Yeah.
Doing well.
Yeah.
Because, regardless what the internet thinks, I didn't think he was a bad driver. I thought he was pretty good. Right? He did pretty well in that S15, and then his Beamer is pretty good driver. I was like, I figured this dude's going to practice his ass off and just do lap after laps in this Mustang and probably come out ripping.
Yeah.
And I guess he didn't, right? I guess it was just like hopping there when I can or when he can. And
Chelsea was the same way. He was not incredible in the Mustang when he first got into it, and then you saw him really come into his own once it, once he.
I feel like that, like Mustangs. I don't know. Just seeing the way. I mean, I've never driven one, so I don't know. But
they look gnarly.
I feel like it's just one of those cars that definitely has the learning curve. Like you kind of have to switch. Other cars may react differently, steering's different, but I feel like the Mustang.
I feel like if you try and make that thing float, you're just gonna die.
Different.
It's one of those cars.
Just
where
the way
like
that suspension reacts.
On throttle, you're on throttle or e-brake or foot brake or something. If you get off of all three of those, the car's just gonna explode. Or you're just, it's gonna
go up into the grandstand.
Yeah, exactly. It's just gonna, it's gonna be like NASCAR. Like
I would argue that if you had full control of the program, you could make any Mustang or any car operate the way you want it to.
You
right?
could.
But that's based on
with enough
suspension
testing
changes,
and
swapping
around,
out the motor to the motor that you like. But they're hopping into just an RTR program where they're using their suspension and probably the setting they want and that engine package. So it's not like, it's got maybe a little bit of lag at the bottom end, all nitrous. So, you can't make it drive the way you want it to drive. Because I've definitely driven several Mustangs. Nothing of that caliber or that newer. But a lot of them drive pretty damn good. You hop into them, and it's not like just a Mustang problem. I think, but it's, when you go full tilt in one direction with any pro car, it's going to get pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like my personal cars, I've always set them up pretty neutral, I think. I think most pro dudes could hop into one of my cars and probably drive it pretty good. That's just because the way my car drives.
I've always been the same way. Like, set the car up to where, you don't, at least with, like, steering and stuff, like, I don't like it super tight, super gripped up to where you're fighting it all the time. Like pretty much anybody, could hop in and like turn some laps.
I would say
pretty quick.
As long as you're used to the grip level. My car is usually.
On the pro level, you kind of with how crazy these cars have gotten over the years. Like you kind of have to. You can't really run like.
But versus like some of the dudes that are running like 2 inches of toe out or something retarded or inch and a half of toe in or just some ridiculous number. Working around. Different toe gain inputs, what do you call Ackerman settings and just weird shit. Maybe that's not a problem anymore. Maybe we've gotten past that to where we have good suspension nowadays. And
like out of the
maybe
box,
that was like 5-10 years ago.
I've seen some excessive toe in the recent years for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like when you like walk by the car and you're like, whoa, like
any little throttle change.
Rear
end.
Someone's car that always throws me off was Jonathan Nairn's. I'd walk by his car. I was like, that shit's broken. What are you doing, bro?
For the
but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's worked for him. What he wanted to do. Maybe the way, whatever he had going. Maybe it like toes out like crazy under throttle. Just how I was looking at that thing, like, all right,
okay,
you're doing some shit there.
Okay,
something's going on. Someone looks bent there.
Yeah. So where were we? Driving different cars or not having time to prep car in. Not having time to drive
he
the car
hasn't gotten
before
to pro
the event.
spec yet. We're still waiting on that.
Yes.
Dude, we're getting
we're getting there.
All right, let's get into pro spec so we can get into your
we got
career.
past 2016.
So we can talk about what's on the board.
So once I got my license, 2016, kind of surprised me because I literally was just doing it for fun. I was like, I'm just gonna have fun with this.
So this was at Top Drift.
Yeah, Top Drift.
How many rounds was it?
Four. Four for the season. Then that kind of caught the bug at that point. Like, kind of started thinking like, okay, well, if this was just me having fun, like, I wonder
I'm gonna crush
if I can, if I could take a championship next year if I actually, took it somewhat seriously. So I started, like, upgrading the car a little bit, went single turbo, because I was still on stock twins for that whole first season. Worst mistake I ever made because started taking it almost too seriously, and so like was burning myself out. always working on the car, not even sleeping just to make it to the next event. You know, all night dyno sessions. Yeah, when I first went single, we went to Horse Thief to test. I think it was like a Jimmy Up event or something. Just like a fun track day. I was shaking the car down. Left the dyno at 7 a.m. Loaded up on the trailer, went home, took a shower, went straight to Willow after that.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
I don't know, dude.
We've all done it.
I don't know.
Why?
I'm really trying to plan ahead to not kind of do this stuff
Why?
anymore.
Why?
And the crazy thing is
Yeah.
okay, so you know the back.
It gets so bad.
So you're going out of pit lane and like the water tower where they meet.
Sure.
And then like the back section.
Yeah.
Did you know there's a fence down there? Yeah.
If
After
you
the
fly
ditch?
off really hard, you can find it.
How did you find that fence? How do you know that
I've
fence is there?
almost
So
found
that's
it.
where I was
Yeah.
leading into the 7 a.m. So if you look
Yeah.
over there,
Yeah.
probably about right where it starts kinking, just look straight down. You'll see like the fence and a nice pole that's bent. Like that's me.
Nice.
Dude, had no idea there was a fence there. So that was fun.
I never knew there was a fence there.
I didn't either.
I haven't been over that little crest yet.
Didn't either.
I've been close.
But there is.
Yeah.
So be
Yeah.
be careful because it's
A couple
after
of cars
it's
have gone
after
through the fence at
trench,
balcony
too, dude.
before.
Oh,
Back in the day, they-
Shout out to Brian Linga. He did a sick, initiates this way. The house is over here.
Yeah.
He went to like initiate and then went off that way.
Did he?
Only car I've ever seen do
Down
that.
the hill or?
I think he made it pretty far.
Because back in the day there was no K rail there.
So
It was
this
just,
this was after there's
Yeah.
a K rail,
Oh, okay.
but he went off before
okay.
that. It was
Yeah.
I think it was just like kicked out. Same thing.
Back in
kicked
the
out,
day-
snapped straight, and then like
Yeah, there
it
was
an
somebody that
MRS.
went off in the back corner at like one of Terry's events at one of the Drift Buffet events. He like
the hairpin.
yeah, the Mustang,
Okay.
some Mustang went through it, went under the fence and down the hill, and then just like drove
Under like the little
Yeah.
the service lane or whatever.
like no
Or,
the
like,
fence the fence literally like slid over the top of his car, like he went
shit.
under it, and then just drove back into the pits and just like parked it and pretended nothing happened.
Sick.
And then Terry was like, "Hey, get
Did
out of here."
Did someone get video of that or?
Yeah, pay for that fence, buddy.
But yeah, so started taking it more seriously, burning myself out. Mm-hmm. Car started breaking more power, more problems.
Mm-hmm.
That was when the whole R154 saga started with me. I hate those transmissions, by the way.
They shift like a truck.
They shift like shit. They're supposed to be strong, but I would have rather just
They're
spent
not.
money on like a bunch of W58s and just swap in a new one every event.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah.
W58s. Honestly, I felt like it shifted. It was a lot lighter of a transmission. It shifted nice and light. R54 is like
It's
clunky.
and I was running like the Marlin Crawler, built
Yeah,
ones.
I had this-
and,
I had the
dude,
same
they
stuff.
just kept blowing up.
I literally took the Marlin Crawler, like the little bucket that goes in the shifter when you put it in there. Like it's got the little cup underneath
like
of
the
it.
little brass,
Yeah, it's got the
swaps in a brass one or something.
Yeah, yeah. So it's got the little brass cup, and then it's got the little spacers, so it makes the shifter all super nice and tight. I got in there, and I was just not used to anything new, and I was like, "What is this clunky?
Oh, jeez.
Get rid of all this!" And I like pulled it off, and that's the way my FC is now.
That's a
it's
good-
like it doesn't have the cup or nothing, so it's like floppy fucking thing. It's like buttery smooth.
Dude, that's the good way to describe like an R154. It just shifts fucking crunchy. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man, I fucking hate them. And I'm terrible. Like I'm not a elegant driver on transmissions. Like,
Same-
dude,
same here.
If I can't
I've
find it,
destroyed
I'm
a lot of
riding
them.
that shit, dude. Like I'm slamming that
going
shit.
in.
dude.
Dog
Exactly.
dog boxes
Dog
are the
box.
shit.
Yeah.
I
man.
recommend people get dog boxes.
I mean, I've blown up dog
immediately.
boxes too. Like I'm just not a very
Oh, you're mean.
my shifts are not. I'm a Honda guy, dude.
Okay.
I'm shifting that, dude.
Are you using the left foot there at all? Or are you just slamming it?
It's not a motorcycle.
Depends on the situation,
Yeah.
you know.
Dang.
So-
Dang.
But yeah. Anyway, so ended up getting my license again that year, and by that time I was with Achilles for like 5 years. At that point, at the end of that season, and dude, they had picked up literally almost every single FD driver under the
look at that.
sun, dude.
That's probably one of the tires that you were changing back then.
Oh, this is the Falcon though.
Oh, that is a Falcon. Oh shit, that's an old
That
one.
one.
That
That one
one
right there.
There you go. There's an Achilles. Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I probably did change that.
That's probably.
So
yeah.
so that year, basically, I was already burnt out from running top drift, car breaking, stressed out. Achilles, I want to say our roster, we had 25 or 26 drivers. Because I think that was the year that they had Miami. Miami, we shipped out 680 tires.
Per round? That's a per round
That was for the Miami round. Average per round, I want to say it was like 4 to 5.
Did you have to help load all those into the truck?
So I would go down to the logistics warehouse.
The Irvine
load
spot?
that was before they had the warehouse.
Okay,
so
okay.
it was like a logistics company that
The
stored.
tire company that had a bunch of different tires?
It was more of like a shipping.
Okay.
What was it called? Like Schaefer.
Because it was like a random tire supply house that I
so
used to go to.
TWI
did
that for a while.
Yeah.
Then they got the spot. But before that, it was this
Just a shipping warehouse?
Yeah, like a shipping warehouse where everything would get shipped and they'd store it and whatever.
go pick
But
it up
I would just go cruise down. It was in Carson.
Yeah.
Load up all the tires in the container for all the FD events. And then I was the only one changing tires at that point. And there was
That's a long
like 26 drivers.
How many people would be there to help you load all those tires?
Sherilyn would meet me down there. But most of the time it would just be me.
Loading how many tires?
Or I'd bring like a friend or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you lacing or were you
Yeah,
stacking?
I would have. Well, that was the thing. Like I was the only one that really knew how to like lace them nicely so they didn't get all crazy when we unload it.
Yep.
So Miami was 680 tires. That event basically broke me because I was the only one. It was fucking Florida, terrible weather.
Oh my god. And the humidity.
And most of the time we would come back with extra tires. But that event, I think we actually had to like go grab tires off of drivers would get knocked out and like
Wow.
bring down your wheels so we could take off the
No
new
shit.
tires. Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
So
That's nutty.
pretty much almost
How are you
blacked
not
out.
like freaking like ripped, dude? You're loading.
Oh,
all
dude,
those
I
tires.
used to be like
Yeah.
now I'm just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
fucking sitting at a desk doing CAD stuff. Like, yeah.
So what happened to Achilles? Where are they at? They've ghosted us.
Well, so the parent company Multistrada, they're the ones that with all the factories in Indonesia.
All right.
So Michelin ended up buying the company. Let me see how to explain that. Like they mainly just bought it for the manufacturing,
I remember commercially hearing about this, Michelin buying out Achilles.
and then
And I remember everyone be like, oh, no, we're okay. This is an okay thing. And then like the next year was like, bye.
well, I mean, it's like any like acquisition or whatever. Like the company is going to basically take a little while, take a year or two, kind of run numbers, see what's going on with the business, kind of get a feel for what's going on, and then start chopping the fat.
Is Achilles still a thing?
To be honest, I don't think so.
You
Well,
cut-
I mean,
you
at
cut
least
ties,
like,
you don't know? Like, I don't know.
well, like Achilles US
Uh-huh.
is that was done like a year after.
Because I had
they got
never even
acquired.
heard of Achilles, Achilles, until they came in.
Yeah, with Daigo
And Daigo
and
killed
Robbie.
it.
Yeah.
And then they disappeared, and I have not heard of them since. Like, literally, that was a drift tire. And I don't even know if they even had anything other than a drift tire. Like, maybe Daigo just made a company, right?
I mean,
created his
Daigo
own
helped
tire,
develop that tire.
and then drove on it, and then was like, all right, I'm out. And then it went away.
It's a shell
was
organization
never real.
for his cartel.
It was never real.
Yeah.
The
The Japanese cartels. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get through some of this because we do want to make sure that we don't waste time, and we want to make sure that we can actually talk about some of these runs.
Oh yeah.
And
we're
talk
pretty
about the
good.
job
We're-
that you
we've
do
done
and the
about
things
an
that you do.
hour right now.
Yeah. But I know the YouTube stuff's going to take a minute. So, all right.
Yeah.
So we are in Pro
Well-
Spec.
Yeah, so we were on Achilles. So they basically, I was ready to quit after Miami that year, and they had helped me out a lot over the years. But Sherilyn had proposed, like I was pretty much ready to quit and just got my license again. Was starting to gather more interest with FD. So Sherilyn kind of pitched, like, hey, so just keep working with us. Just run the tire program, but we'll hire a couple more guys. You'll kind of move more into this management side of things. Just we'll transport your car to the FD events, take care of the tires and stuff. Just help set up the tire area, kind of run the tire servicing and everything, but basically kind of got like a full ride. I think pretty much the only, besides LZ, like we were the only ones getting free tires in like Pro 2. Everybody else,
I didn't get no free tires.
I mean, and you know, like free transport. That's huge. So
Yeah, transport and tires.
Transport
you literally
and
took
tires.
care of the most expensive. That like,
it.
I mean, what is that? Probably 20 grand on tires for
Yep.
Pro 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a Pro 2 or Pro Spec at the time? It was Pro 2, right?
Pro 2 at that time, yeah.
So you took care of 20 grand probably in tires,
Yeah.
and then another 20 grand plus in
20,
travel.
30 grand, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure in logistics.
I mean, that's in just logistics, not owning the truck, owning the trailer, all the
paying,
things.
paying for crew, flights, hotels, all of that stuff. And the other cool thing is like Sherilyn had also, you know, do you have anybody that can help as well? She flew. I brought on my homie Tim. He actually was working with ESSA these past few years, but she like worked it out to where like they flew him out as well,
Cool.
and then to help set up, and then he was crewing for me.
Yeah.
So like
Way to set up a
lot,
deal.
like it was pretty much, you know, an opportunity I couldn't pass up. Like I said, I wasn't originally wanting to get in an FD, but with that proposal, it was kind of like, dude,
Yeah.
if I pass that up, I know
No,
10 years
you
down the
cannot.
road, yeah,
No,
I'm
no,
going
no,
to
no.
regret that.
No.
I knew it was gonna be hard. You know, I knew it was expensive. I knew
That's
it was
like the
gonna be
hottest girl in
shitty.
school walking up to you and be like, "Hey, you want to go out with me?"
It's like you're dumb.
I wouldn't trust
not
it.
Yeah,
to,
like
dude.
I
I wouldn't trust it.
You wouldn't trust it?
No. It's
Too-
probably a
too-
joke. They're going
too
to
easy.
do something
easy.
funny. I don't know. There's a camera somewhere.
Too good to be true.
You didn't think
something
Sherilyn was
happened,
trying
I
to
don't
like take advantage of you and like throw
geez.
you in a river or something,
I don't-
murder you somewhere?
I don't know. It was one of those things. It's like that's. I knew it was gonna be shitty. I knew it was gonna be, you know, basically, it was gonna take everything that I owned in order to make it. Even though I was getting a lot of shit covered, but yeah, I just had to do it. So
Yeah.
ended up running.
No, you can't turn that down.
Yeah.
That's
You know, it's
impossible.
another great demonstration of how drifters find a way to make it work.
yeah.
Right? We had all the hot pit drivers on the last podcast, and we heard so many different stories on how what they do, right, to have a job that allows them to have time off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're just making good money, and that's one thing, but they're able to make good money and have time off.
Flexibility.
Because if you have
yeah.
a job that's like, hey, bro, you can't take off this many weeks, right? That's a big thing to make your life work around drifting.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you really
Yeah.
figured out a way.
Can't do
to
FD.
create
You
that.
can't do FD on vacation time.
Yeah, no, there's not enough vacation time, you know,
So, I
'cause
mean-
especially if you're driving the rig.
Nope.
At that time, I actually started working. So end of 2017, I got hired on to do all the R&D at Gretty. So Kenji, shout out to Kenji. Like he's helped me out a lot as well, because he did give me that flexibility with the taking off a week or two here and there, like to go to
I've
these
said that a
events,
lot, like,
helping me out with parts,
yeah.
giving me a spot to work on the
Yeah.
car, you know, and just pretty much like anything they could do to help.
Yep.
Like I got so much support.
That's a
Once I
sponsorship on
did-
its own.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like a lot of the guys that I had met through the industry, you know, like, you know, with the Achilles, you know, just working, you know, kind of putting in the work with them. With all the people I met through Gary, you know, starting to work at Gretty, Sparko, HPS, like just everybody that was on my car, like they were all personal, like close friends that were
Yeah.
just down to see me run.
Said that.
Like,
That's what I was saying. Is like that. As long as you get a job with someone who is either involved with FD, like a big fan of FD, knows
Yeah.
how it works, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like my spotter, Westies, he got a job with ANX Electric, who manages Ryan Littoral's team.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
like now he has a job where like he doesn't have to ask for the time off because his boss is already taking the time off to go to the
That's where
event.
that
Like,
also backfires, though.
kind of.
You can't
yeah.
shut the whole shop down. Someone's got to stay home and work.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I guess
he knows that
guess it
he's my
depends on, like,
spotter,
how-
so he
yeah.
knows that Westy's like is going to be at all the FD. You know, that was taken into account when he
Yeah,
hired him.
sure.
You know, so like he's not going to tell Westy's like, hey, sorry, you gotta stay back. Like,
Yeah.
no, that would not happen. And if it would, I would yell at I would yell at him for sure.
I mean, there was even times where
Old Dustin Griggs would get a call.
Oh, boy.
yeah,
I'd be
there's
shaking
even
my fist
times
at him.
at Gretty where like, you know, there wasn't much going on, so like I'd even take off, you know, like the week before actually heading out just to kind of jumpstart and start prepping the car, because I was basically running the whole program myself, working on the car, still working at the time, trying to get money for parts and all of that stuff.
Dude, Gretti's like such like a old school prestige company
I was
in like the
thinking
tuner world. What
same
was it like
exact
working
thing.
there? And did they have like a crazy facility and like what's that all about?
I will say, like, you know, like it's a lot crazier. A lot of people think it's a lot crazier than it is when like the whole history behind like the U.S. side and the Japanese side. I'm to this day. I mean, I worked there for 5 years, and I'm still like
Still confusing.
not 100% sure about what happened. But basically, you know, there was
I just work here, man.
you know, the company got sold, and then
It does get
they're
complicated.
they're going down, and then an investor jumped in, bailed them out. They gave them the rights to the U.S. side. So there's kind of like a separation.
It does
So,
get complicated at those
yeah,
points.
it's real complicated.
Yeah.
But
We'll just leave it at that. It's complicated.
But was
was it
it
fun?
a nice facility? Like, was it a good? You know,
I mean, it's old school Japanese, I guess you could say. I mean, there wasn't really anything like crazy, and that's kind of where I wanted to bring in, kind of like update things and bring in kind of what became the industry standard as far as tools and processes and the way product development went.
CNC automated stuff and
Yeah.
3D printing,
So a lot of things. You know,
OnlyFans,
progress.
you know, all these.
Jeez, webcams and stuff like that. But I mean, like it was fun. You know, like I got to a point where, you know, I started feeling kind of stagnant.
Yeah,
I'm the type of person where I need to constantly be learning and doing
same
something
here.
different.
Yeah,
So like like making exhaust prototypes, like basically living the same day over and over and over, like just
Groundhog
kinda
Day.
It killed my mindset.
God bless the
Yeah.
people that can do that every day.
I
I
can't.
almost had a job.
They make the world go
I
round.
remember. Have you ever met Marco Daba? He works at aerospace stuff, and he was a part of Dorisaru. He took me into a place. It was like an aerospace company to help make windows for. I don't even know what it was, jets or rockets or something crazy.
Yeah.
And I went through the whole interview thing, and you know that was all good. It was like production line stuff. I was like, this looks terrible. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then he takes me in to go like meet the CEO of the whole company just to shake hands, and the guy's like, "Man, God bless you for like wanting to be able to do this like production line stuff." It's like, because I definitely couldn't sit there and do the same thing every single day. And I shook his hand and walked out the
CEO
the
said
room.
that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, screw this. And then so the hire guy was like, yeah, Jeff. So it's like, go take the drug test, and then you know, should be good in a day or two, and we'll hire you. Should be good. So I said later to Mark, said, hey Mark, thanks for you know, bringing me in here. And I got in my car and I was like, yeah, screw this. There is no way I'm doing the same thing day in, day out. Literally, like not even fabricational, anything. It was like literally cut a window, put it in, move on. I was like, no, man, no way. And that dude said that, and I, you know, it's like one of those things. You think, goodness, for whoever fired you, whoever like said no to you, because it allowed you to get in the position that you're in.
It's almost thank
So I'm
God.
so
thank
glad
God
he
for
did.
that brutal honesty he gave you right
Yeah.
there, because that was like, you know what, you're fucking right.
You're
man.
so right. I'm not doing
I
this.
can't do
Fuck
this.
this. I don't need a paycheck that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I would have probably quit like a month in, if that, you know, weekend. Yeah, so funny enough, they all
just
thought
the-
that I couldn't do the drug test because I never even did
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So like Jeff, they're like, or Mark was like, hey, so they just assumed you're on drugs because you didn't do the drug test. I'm like, no, bro, your freaking guy told me about what he said, and I was like, no.
Yeah, your boss came in and
Yeah.
started.
That's
but
funny.
It's just that repetition. Like, I don't know, dude. It just kills you.
Yeah. That repetition even pisses me off. Like when you get like just like one side of the car done. Like if you're
Oh,
putting
yeah.
a coilover on, you're like putting your suspension on. You're like, oh, I got my
Especially
angle
after
kit
it fucking
done.
kicks your
angle
ass or
kit.
something,
This looks
dude.
sick. Look at all this angle I got. And you look at the other side of the car and you're like, oh, dude, there's nothing there. Like there's
Damn,
absolutely
I still
nothing
gotta- I
there.
still gotta do the-
I still gotta put the coilover on. I still gotta put the hub on, the brake rotor, the caliper, the
Alignment,
control arm, the
ride height.
sway
Oh,
bar.
yeah, dude.
Like, oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
jeez.
Like, and the other side is just mint. You could just, like, if you could just focus on that
Yeah.
right
Dude, there's
there,
times
you know?
where like I would be,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hate
It'll take
that.
forever just to finish one side. I'm like, yeah, I don't even.
Yeah, like I'll wait till tomorrow.
I'll come back tomorrow.
Wait till tomorrow,
dude.
Need that new motivation. You know what helps though is like getting a meal. Like yeah, like you get to that point,
dude,
like
you
or
skip,
like
you
something
like skip lunch or whatever, and you don't realize how fucking hungry you are, dude. Then you eat like. Oh,
that's
shit.
the only way
like,
I get by, like when you're pulling
feels
those like gnarly like 24-hour days, those long work days. Like
dude.
the meals are what bring you back to life. It's crazy how much like a meal can just like revive, because you'll be dying, like working on the car, like sweating, like 2 hours of sleep, just.
Dude, there was like when I was doing Pro 2,
and then you get a burger and you're like, oh,
again, why do we do this to ourselves?
Go.
I'm not gonna lie. Like when I was doing Pro 2, there was times where I would legit be in the shop like 2-3 days straight, just to get the car ready to load up on the Achilles rig. Yeah,
literally this.
No, like not even fucking sleeping, dude, because it's just like there was so much I had to get done to get that car for the deadline for that rig to leave. If, like for me to get that car on the rig, that was the only way.
2 hours a night is all that's necessary.
You know, I had help. You know, like I said, I've been fortunate. I've had a lot of support over the years, but at the end of the day, it was just. There's still a ton of stuff that, I had to handle, and that's what made me get so much respect for anybody that runs FD. Like it's so easy to sit on the sidelines and watch the live stream and talk shit like, oh, this driver sucks, that driver sucks, but like, dude, every single driver out there has a story that of whatever they went through before you see them on live stream. You know what I mean? Like, it's just. Yeah, a lot of people don't give drivers the credit.
It's a lot harder than it looks. And here's the thing is like the mental state of that driver is kind of you're looking at the driving being like, oh, well, he sucks, or oh, this, that. The mental state's there. The car could be messed up. He could have not got enough laps that day. It could have just been a shitty run, and he could just suck. There's that part too.
He might be going on 72 hours straight, just driving across five states. You know,
exactly,
like
man.
People just don't realize like what a lot of these drivers are going through. You know, especially running your own program.
I took years off my life in 2018 when I was freaking getting the dry sump done on this thing, and getting out to Florida, and didn't have time to get anything done. I was calling in to get the sponsor logos cut and sent to the hotel, and. Then I get it out there and like do my first donut. The car dies. It's overheating like crazy, and that I literally had like a semi-mental breakdown, and I just gave up. I was like,
I think we've all been at a point.
Do it, and I just took
every
a nap.
Year. None of that ever changes.
Like I fucking straight up broke down in the shop one night. You know, I was in Gary's shop. It's like 3 a.m. I'm sitting there. I'm like working on 2 days straight. I got so much shit to do, and I'm just I just sat down. I'm like looking at the car, like, what the fuck am I doing?
Why is this my life?
Like no, like seriously, it's like going into it, it's like all stoked. Oh yeah, about to do FD, trying, but then like you just get to everything. Everybody hits that point where it's just like, what the fuck am I doing?
It takes a certain level of toughness and a certain level. I have a mantra that I say: just keep on trucking. So whenever I get to that spot, I'm just like one step, another step, one part, another bolt. You know, this, that. Put this thing away.
You get to the point where you have to break things down into like, you know, it gets easy to get overwhelmed when you have this huge task. It seems like, but once you start learning kind of the process, breaking down, and you kind of give yourself little wins. You know, like,
you hate to do it.
Every wall gets built brick by brick.
You hate to do it, but realistically. You just need to go to sleep sometimes.
And
just show up early the next day.
That's definitely one of the things that I learned.
Because it slows you down so much, right? You're like, no, I'll just do another 5 hours, and it's like, oh, just go to bed.
Just go to bed.
Like I was hitting up Kevin Wells about tech shit when I was building my car, and he's just like, dude, like, have you even fucking slept? Like, go fucking sleep. And it's just like, he said something.
Because you're working at a snail's pace at some point.
Well, so like, you're better off. Just putting in a well-rested 8 hours, just banging out shit on the car, than 24 hours straight of shit work where you're just fucking shit up.
Let's call it a 14 hours, 16 hours, with sleep.
You just start like creating more problems for yourself at that point, just from sleep deprivation.
I did more than 24-hour work days for sure.
Yeah, like straight. I don't even know if this was a sleep problem, but one time I torqued down a head. and we're like all done, and then we looked at it, and there was like a vacuum hose under the head.
Oh shit! In between the head
Yeah,
gasket.
in between the head gasket.
Oh god!
And we looked at that. We're like, "What is that?" And we like try to pull it. We're like, "Oh no!"
Oh,
and we're like,
God.
"Maybe it's just the
Fuck.
tip of the head maybe it's just the hose under there."
Yeah.
We're like, "It's not coming out. I don't think so." We're like,
Fuck,
we took the head off. It's like literally like in there like 6 inches. We're like, "Oh,
Oh my god.
idiot.
Dude.
Yeah. Now it's like, all right, we need a new head
No,
gasket.
it's a piston bushing, dude.
Yeah,
Calm down,
pretty much.
man.
Yeah, it would have
That's
been
good.
slapping it. Yes, I mean,
That
sometimes
sucks.
you just need to go to freaking sleep, and you hate to do it. Like legit,
Yeah.
you know, go home, take a shower, freaking reset.
Yeah, no, I have learned that. Yeah,
Definitely
we learned that one in
mental
Seattle.
resets are
but
good,
you don't
yeah.
want to, you know.
Yeah, no.
you
Yeah.
don't want to.
I mean, just it's you're overwhelmed. You think you need to be working. You know, it's as much time as you have. You need to use that all of it. But
It's hard to get the brain to stop
yeah.
sort of churning at that point too, to even like get sleep. Unless I'm
A
like
lot of
purely
times, yeah.
physically exhausted, I'll just keep thinking about like, oh, I did this. Oh, let me put
Yeah.
that on the list. I will wake up from a dead sleep, grab my phone, write something on the list, and,
Yep.
you know, and then
Yep.
put it back, and you're like, all right, this is not
My best
healthy.
thinking time is 11 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
That's like when I'm wide awake. Yep. My brain's like, let me figure the world
Yeah,
out.
right.
tired
gotta
as
do
hell,
this
but
right
once you tired as hell once you get home,
think that's
jump in
called
bed,
ADHD,
just like
yeah.
fuck no.
I gotta take notes.
And that's why we drink this stuff.
ADHD is rough, man.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers, boys. To our first
I'm
physical
out,
guest.
but-
Oh, you want one?
Oh damn.
yeah, sure.
Yep.
I'm
I
running
got
out.
I got it.
But so all right,
Thank
where
you,
we're uh-oh.
Drifting's a drug. Continue on.
Yeah,
It's a terrible drug. So you got full ride Achilles.
yeah. So
How did Pro 2, not Pro Spec? He's been
Yeah.
calling it Pro Spec.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
it was
I
Pro 2 back
so
then.
I did Pro 2 and Pro at the same time.
Thank you.
But then it was much more open.
Thank
Pro 2 was just a lower class, right? There was
Yeah.
no rules. Pro Spec
separate, yeah.
Yeah, Pro Spec was a much different separation. And for me it was just I think you just had to be below top 16 to be eligible to run. I think
Top 16 in
I think
pro,
16
right.
and up in pro was not eligible to run
Yeah,
Pro 2.
I remember that.
There was a few drivers that ran in both.
That was like
I
the,
mean, you
the
ran
first
both.
like 1 or 2 years out.
Yeah.
who
So
else ran
like
both?
I was legit sucking in pro, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I might lose my license this year. Let's do
Yeah.
both. So I
Yeah.
did pro and pro 2.
Yeah, there's
And
a
then
few
did
drivers
really
that,
good.
were, that
Yeah.
were doing both double duty.
That was the year that I spotted for you, and I had to do double duty in the tower and up there for like 8.5 hours a day.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a.
That's always fun.
It was
I
much
did
easier because I was
everything
able to
up
run scrubs.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
During the
Oh
pro
yeah,
2 stuff.
remember that?
Yep. And it
We
worked out well.
beat Osbo in Atlanta that year.
Yeah.
On scrubs. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
He debeated, and I was yelling. I was like, "Yeah!" And then I look over, and Papadakis just gives me this angry look, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm happy my boy." did
It was
Yeah.
amazing because like right afterwards, I forget who said it. Actually, and it might have been you that said it. Fuck it, go get his tires. He don't need them. I legit drove
say
down
that.
and looked at Paul Joe, and I think it was Nexon at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, Paul, I just beat your boy. He doesn't need his tires. Can I have them?" And he looked at me like,
He didn't.
"Yeah."
like-
Damn.
He said he looked
You
at me.
said
He's like, "Yeah, come send your guys over and come get them."
See, it
Yep.
worked out. You
Yeah,
know,
sent my boys over, and I think
sometimes a little
he
shit
gave me
talk.
like 10 tires or
I'm-
something. I was
Hey, man,
like,
you never
"Oh
know
yeah."
till
I'm
you don't
pretty sure
ask.
that was me
That's
over
what
the
you ask.
radio because I think I had a beer or two that
But
day.
the next year they
up in
sponsored
the
me.
tower, and
So,
I was
it worked out
feeling
well.
a little frisky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talking crap up there.
yeah.
Yeah. That worked out
It's
pretty
like
well.
'cause Jared, he was over the mic. He's like, "You got any Jeff Jones fans out there?" And I was like, "Yeah!" And I was right next to him, so you could hear it like through his mic. Like, yeah, it was great.
Oh, Tower Chronicles.
Oh man, yeah.
So yeah, all right. So you're in Pro 2.
Pro 2.
What year? This is 2018.
Yeah,
Your
20,
first year?
2018 was my first year.
Okay.
Completely tore down the car, rebuilt it. That was definitely a year. Definitely a learning curve.
So what was it like doing your first lap in Pro 2?
So I
You've
actually
watched all the dudes do it. You're now suited up. You went to a driver's meeting. You're
Stu
ready
was
to do
ready.
something.
I
Were you
I
nervous?
actually missed the first round, which was Atlanta, because I couldn't finish the car.
All right.
That was right when I was fucking had the breakdown in the shop, and it was pretty
Oh.
much just
throwing
like,
wrenches, yelling at Gary.
I just got to a point where I was just like, all right, I've been fucking killing myself
can't handle this
trying to get
shit,
this
Gary.
car,
The
and it was
defeat.
just like it got to the point where I'm like, all right, I did what I could. I can't keep doing this to myself. So like, you know, I'll get the car done. Like Gary actually, I was in Atlanta working with Achilles, and, you know, Gary's sending me pictures of, you know, they got the car fired up at the shop because he did the wiring harness. But dude, that sucked being in Atlanta. I think I spotted for Adam Kanapik.
It does suck watching and not being. I mean,
because it was just like I was out there.
Well, bro, that was my whole 2016 because
Yeah.
I took my license away in 2015.
Yeah.
So I had to go do pro-ams again in 2016, and then I came out and spotted for him in Pro Spec and Pro 2 that year that
Yeah.
I technically should have been driving because they passed other drivers that, you know, had the same amount of points as me.
It
But
fucking
we'll leave that
sucks,
to another
dude.
discussion.
Like-
But yeah, it
'cause
sucked,
I was
I'm
out there-
literally watching Pro 2, and I'm like, I could
Yeah.
do pretty good.
I mean, because like Adam's a homie. Like
Yeah.
he came up, he's like, well, I mean, hey, since you're, you know, not driving and you're out, like, are you down the spot for me? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like of course. But
Adam who?
Kanapik,
Okay.
Adam Napkins,
Napkin, yeah. Napkin. Yeah.
Kanapik. That's, I mean, I went through all the top drift calling Napik, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
How
yeah,
do you, how do you
I mean,
actually pronounce it? Because I don't even.
I don't know.
the
I think
name.
he told Jared.
Napkin. Adam Napkin.
Adam Napkin?
Kanapkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just call
It's
him napkins.
Napnik?
Yeah.
Is it
Napkin.
Napnik?
Napkins.
Napkin.
Napnik?
Kanapik?
Knapnik?
I don't know.
I really
Adam,
liked
if
his
you're watching this, you
his
gotta-
S14 when it was like all that like reflective
The
red,
red
the,
chrome.
the, like
hated
the,
red
the
chrome
cherry.
so much.
Oh, that was
Until I got
sick.
all-
I
I
loved
hated
it.
it, dude.
Freaking
Did you hate it
loved
too?
it.
I don't like red cars.
I just, I didn't
don't-
like
So you
the
hate all my
reflective
cars, huh?
chrome. I don't like reflective chrome
I just-
anything.
He just said
I
he
don't-
hates 90% of my cars.
It looks like the
Yeah,
Silver
I
Surfer,
hate it.
like the
It's not
freaking
good.
No.
Terminator 2 freaking cop or whatever. Just
No, I thought his
I
car
just
was
remember
rad.
2017. It was like all faded, so
Yeah.
it looked like
that's probably
like
when
an
I
orange.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so-
yeah. When it got faded, it was it was funky.
First year was pretty dope.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, when it fades.
Not a fan. I love Adam, but I'm not a fan of that.
Well, to me, it
Adam's
reminded me
fine.
of like an old school 90s lowrider. Yeah. So
I liked it when Literal had that bass boat paint on his 14. He did like some lowrider stuff
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like with
with the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sick.
So I wanted to do something similar for like the longest time. I just never done it. You know, just being an LA boy myself, and you know, always growing up around lowrider people and old classic cars. It's like there's not enough lowrider influence in drifting, and I thought that his car was pretty cool because of that. Yeah, exactly. Like I would love. And then you know who else had a really good one was Dave Briggs. He had a really rad.
Briggs.
On the
Dave
SR,
Briggs,
the crazy SR car?
Canadian.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I'm trying to think of his car.
350Z, cherry red, like apple red.
The second car
That
he
sucker
built.
was badass too, man. And so like I've always thought like if you had like a slammed out cherry red, like glittery lowrider style paint, you know, and have it like Los Angeles Drifters or something in the back, a little chromed out.
Yeah, the
thing or
little,
gold out. chain
yeah.
steering wheel drifting, man, freaking all chromed out inside. That'd
That'd
be
be kinda
sick.
dope.
I'm just
yeah.
imagining like how hydros would feel like while drifting if you were like in mid.
Well, isn't Odie making those? He's got his little airbag fill suspension.
like,
Yeah, I'm putting those on my A28 for
There you
sure,
go.
dude. I want that adjustable because I want to be able to just
Throw some
they
wedge
look,
in it or
They look
something, dude.
so good
Yeah,
when
the
they're
mad
on the
wedge.
ground. But
Oh, can you
I'm
imagine that at
overdriving it
Irwindale?
like that.
You just like
I'm
bump
saying,
in
dude,
some
on the
wedge,
banks, dude.
dude.
Fuck yeah.
You just wedge on the bank and then you take the wedge out right after the bank.
Actually, I think that would
Technically,
be,
you're not allowed to adjust
yeah.
it, but if you put a wedge in there that you could hammer in there, right? And then it only stayed in there while it was loaded up. And then when it unloaded, it would pop out. You know? Like a little wedge of wood you could just jam in there.
Yeah, you
you
just
know?
got the initiation.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
when
yeah. Yeah, and then
yeah.
once you swing back, it just falls on the ground. And, you know,
Yeah.
technically, I didn't adjust anything. It just dropping parts on the train.
I mean, there's
is
a
cars
whole
just-
a whole nother thing to talk about.
there's a lot of different ways that you can modify suspension to where it works in one direction, not the other direction. You know,
Yeah, there's.
Yeah.
I mean,
without giving away too many secrets.
there's a lot of like
I had a loose tie rod one
circle
year
track, like dirt.
at Irwindale,
circle
it did
tracks,
those
stuff
guys
that
know what's
are-
up. They're years ahead of us.
Yeah, they. I mean, there's like some of the guys in the recent years started adopting a lot of the cars. I mean, that's what's crazy about drifting. It's just the car setups, especially suspension. But there's so many different types of racing that people are taking bits and pieces of. You know, like if you look at a drift car, like a pro drift car now. I mean, almost any type of racing, there's some sort of influence
Yeah.
in the builds. You know,
Yeah.
off-road, rally, dirt track, circle track stuff. You know, like it's just nuts. Like, and it's just like guys like Steph, Gary, Nate from Bing, like all those super smart fabricator guys that are adapting those theories and stuff to drifting is just it's been cool to see over the years, and like the development of what's the norm,
because I feel like at first it was like sort of like drag racing guys that were kind of getting into drifting and helping people out, and then like when you got more serious about it, you saw more like road race stuff being adapted to drifting, and then once we got like very serious about like
the horsepower awards and everything, you started needing more grip.
Suspension travel and how it works, and now you're looking at like circle
off-road.
track, off-road guys. Like, how do we make grip when there is no grip? How do we make grip when the tires are spinning? And I watched a whole YouTube video the other day about tractor pulls. And it was really interesting to see like how they shift the weight and the height of the hitch versus the amount of wheel speed they have.
Yeah.
And they have wheelie bars that are 10 inches off the ground. So if they hit those wheelie bars, they're actually like drag. They'll create drag. So they want to balance it to where like they lift the tires off like the ground, just like 6 inches, but keep it perfectly there while the wheels are just charging through.
Yeah, still.
And you
still
have
keeping it down,
you have an uneven, muddy surface to like think about that has inconsistency, and it can be soft, it can be dry. Like, is it really interesting to see like how much they're pedaling the throttle so much, but they're just trying to keep the tractor just perfectly in that little spot. And I was like, this is so similar. This is so similar to what we're trying to do as far as like make speed in drifting. I was
it's pretty
you're
nuts.
trying to get it to dig just that perfect amount.
Are they data logging?
What's that?
Are they data logging?
I'm not sure. They're farmers, man. You gotta hit them up, dude.
Pull the logs on my tractor.
It was
smart
logs. Smarter every day.
Are the hillbillies pulling logs?
Yeah, Smarter Every Day was the YouTube channel.
I watched that one. I watched that one too.
Smarter Every Day. Look that one up, dude.
Dustin.
Yeah. He's great videos. Yeah.
I was just watching his channel today.
Oh man, I watched the whole Kodak one.
Which one?
Oh yeah, the Factor or whatever.
The Factor with Kodak. Isn't that funny? At least we're all watching the same thing.
It's like the film.
That's how I know you're good people.
Yeah,
dude, I fucking love that channel.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch anybody's YouTube videos. I just,
as far as car stuff,
I mean, okay.
It's hard because like we live car stuff lifestyle. We don't have to fantasize about it.
That's the thing. It's
we're
just
very
like, I don't know
when it comes to a lot of things.
Yeah, I hate watching that.
I mean,
it's not even limited to cars. It's just like any type of like vlog stuff. But I'm sorry, I can't watch it. Like, if I'm not actively learning something, I guess from what I'm watching or whatever, then like to me, like I don't mean to sound like a dick,
or if
but
it's like a weird niche that I'm super into, like
that's what I'm saying. Like if I'm trying to like learn
trucks, like
something,
like the crazy trucks in Japan, like those crazy.
Quick difference. So you're referring to like someone who's. There's all kinds of YouTube channels where someone's like, "Hey, I'm going to try to put my coilovers on today," and you're like, "Well, this is a waste of my time. I know how to put coilovers on." We already know
how to do it.
Yeah. Well,
someone who doesn't know how to do it, I guess, consider that the
versus
same thing where you're learning something.
That guy who's like, "I'm going to explain to you how to engineer like how a balloon works or how this tractor pull works and how to put this on the right way."
In
learning
the
from
like theory and the whole process and engineering.
But there are so many people that are interested in watching someone unbox something and learn how to put it on.
I can't.
And I'm not about that either.
It's one thing about like an install. If I'm like green or whatever, if I'm doing something for the first time, like I'll look up YouTube videos of like kind of like how to do something. But it's the whole, I guess, like, oh hey, like come with me to this place or come to this track day or whatever. It's like, dude, I can't follow someone's life and like just sit there. Like if I'm not learning anything, or like just watching someone's life, like I don't know. I'm just, if it's something that I'm interested in, like I'm gonna go do it. I don't want to watch somebody else do it.
I don't want to idolize someone.
I guess
it's not.
Like I said, I'm not trying to sound like a
It takes
dick.
a certain person to be
like,
a YouTuber.
I got better stuff to do with my time. I guess.
Yeah.
Like
You're a participator.
if I'm not getting anything,
that's why you're learning how to fly planes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that though.
We got a lot to get into.
Yeah, we're good. We're only an hour and 38 minutes in. You know, we're just starting the ball rolling. You know.
Andy wants to have a 4-hour podcast.
Where were we at? We're trying to get through this quick.
Pro 2.
Pro 2.
Basically.
2018. Missed the first event.
Yeah.
Got there for St. Louis. I
want to hear about the first lap.
The first lap. I don't even remember the first lap. I remember the car was like freshly rebuilt, like just spent a shit ton of time. And I think I pulled up the video.
Which one do we got?
Practice, I fucking dipped the tire off and like, that tire tire wall in the grass.
Oh, this is
Orlando?
2019.
That's 2019. I think it's one of the
It's
the
one of these
Instagram ones. Yeah. Next one maybe. Oh, the bottom one. So this one, oh man, I thought I was going into that wall.
Good looking car.
Oh my God.
Sally.
Like straight up, like all right, pitch it backwards and pin that shit. Cause that was after like I think Rad Dan and like dude like 4 other guys went into that doing the same exact thing.
Is Texas?
I'm like, dude, this is a fresh like.
Where's this at?
The what?
Is this Texas?
No,
this
St.
is
Louis,
St. Louis.
2018.
The
the
first
Oh
one,
yeah,
the
the
big
good track. The good track. Okay.
The fast one, yeah.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure. Okay.
I
Oh,
dropped,
that track was so good.
I dropped
That
Tyra
was
there
good.
real
It was
mean,
fast.
but I got
yeah.
lucky that
I didn't like the initiation. I was having trouble with that, but I did, like just I don't know, fast road courses.
I would
fucking
argue
love
this
them.
is
I didn't have
next to
enough gear
Atlanta.
for it.
This is the best track we've ever done in FD.
I'd say mine would be Atlanta,
Damn.
Texas, and then that one.
It's full
I mean,
All right.
Irwindale's
Saucy
just
at
different.
Irwindale.
All right,
Oh,
I
yeah.
always
Boom.
thought Texas.
Fucking smash that
saucy.
shit.
That was a saucy run.
It was I got a funny story to tell you about this afterwards, though. So, yeah, I messed up on the bank, and I'm like, all right, I gotta hit this zone early, like just make up for anything I could. But before I even transitioned into it, I already knew. I'm like, fuck, I'm way too fucking deep and hitting it way too early. Like, I'm gonna go on the wall. So I pretty much just had to like minimize the damage, like just do damage control and like make sure I actually finish the run and put down the score.
U.S. Drift Circuit wants to know when we make it.
When
I'm gonna kill this live stream.
when we what?
That's what you get now for asking
Yeah,
that.
that's what you get.
Thanks, Jackson.
U.S. Drift Circuit.
That's freaking
All right.
Jackson right there.
What was the
Florida
question?
people.
Nice.
Later.
Jeff, you're supposed to say bye.
Later, nerds. Later, Jackson. That's what happens because you showed up.
I didn't
What
realize
was
we were
the
on for
question?
so
What are we gonna
long
what?
on that one. 62 people watched our live video. Do I want to share it?
Better share it
Why?
because I'll never be able to see it again later. Or maybe not. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
discard it
With all these cameras.
just because now.
There you go. It's gone.
That way, it's only exclusive to our live.
Exclusive to
listeners.
the live. If you guys didn't
Exclusive.
watch that live on our Instagram, follow our Instagram.
Yeah,
And while you're at it,
yeah.
what do they say? Ring that bell, flick the little dingy little dude,
like
Bro,
like
Little-
are you in the bedroom right now?
the
What's
man in
going
the
on?
canoe.
What are you flicking?
You got to flick the little dingling.
Flick your
Oh,
dingle,
man.
do?
Yeah.
What?
live stream is off, and
How
now
much
we
beer have
just
you had?
took a
Do all
turn.
the things that you're supposed to do down below.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
I feel like you just did an awesome dad joke without even knowing.
Hey.
Oh,
yay.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
All right. Moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on. We have finally made it to Pro 2. We're watching your
Pro
runs.
2 crashes. Man,
Um,
I've hit every single wall in all of the Pro 2 tracks.
There we
That
go.
was a fun one.
We have this.
That was Atlanta.
This
That
is
was probably
Josh
man.
was given a fair shake because of
So that
the
year,
mistake that
2019,
Robbins made in his lead run at,
every
Cruise
single
Lane.
round, basically, the car took me out. Like
Sean Adriano,
something
Donovan
broke.
Brockway. Here we go for this great
That's
battle.
Andy.
That shit
This is the
sucked.
second
Andy
half of
always
the
takes
battle.
himself out.
As Adriano
Shut up.
was at fault. He needs to put
I do an
down a
excellent
solid
job when
lead
I don't
run.
take myself
Brockway
out.
No, you do. I agree.
looks like he's ready to go and throw
Yeah,
down.
dude, I
As
fucking love
Adriano
Atlanta.
doing exactly what he
It's
needs
such
to
a
do.
Yeah,
good track.
Atlanta's a jam.
Kinda slipped
Dude,
in there
this
to
was
chase
like the
position,
first because
but
I hit
in
Brockway
as
in the
far
first run.
as
Oh, you want me to go back?
fault, the chase tackle with
I mean, it was like a
Sean
shit
Adriano.
run.
Does
Like,
he still drive? Brockway?
I haven't heard much from him, but
He had to have like shoulder surgery and stuff, and
Oh,
then
shit,
he
no
sat
way.
out for a year, and that was he wanted to come back I think last year, but it was the weird licensing relicensing
Oh, yeah,
thing.
like the
he fell into that
registration.
category
Yeah.
where he
Remember the
couldn't get a
names.
license again. I'm not 100% sure if he's coming back this year or not. He was up at Winter Jam. I should have asked him, but I didn't. Is there a crash on this one? Why are we watching this one?
I don't think there's. I hit him on the first one, but there's like one more time or whatever. But
We'll find that one more
I
time.
crashed Irwindale, Texas. Where else? Pretty much everywhere, dude. I thrashed that car.
Pretty much everywhere.
After I got the first one out of the way,
Good
I'm
job.
like, all right, whatever.
Huh?
Yeah, I got my first crash out of the new chassis last year. Everywhere.
I don't think I've.
You always got to get the first crash out, because like when the cars are brand new,
the best.
you're driving all soft.
Yeah,
Josh
that was the
Robinson
problem.
with the Ute.
Oh yeah, what happened to Josh Robinson?
He's a Texas boy now.
Yeah, he's in Texas.
But he
I mean, that probably
What was
matches
his
where he's
last
from,
name?
right? He's from Australia,
Oh,
right? So Texas.
Jeff, I got a surprise for you.
Hey,
Street Drifter 9000.
It's the intro.
the intro, Jonathan.
He loves the intro song, so I gotta play it for him. Or
Intro
Hell
the
yeah.
he's not
jam,
gonna
bro.
do this anymore with me.
Ah,
I'll do
Yep.
a podcast all by
Nice
myself.
fucking Waffle House hat.
Waffle House,
Hell
bro.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, Waffle House is the jam. Like,
I love Waffle
mean,
House, man.
it's one of my favorite things to do across the country.
Dude, like
And a lot of people
especially
don't
like the
understand
2,
it.
3 a.m. drunk after track Waffle House sessions, dude. The best.
I like to
stories,
describe
for
it
sure.
as eating in a gas station bathroom, but the food's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude, some like Essa hates Waffle House. Like some people
Why does
just
he hate
like.
it? Why
like
do- well,
that's
it
the thing.
doesn't-
Like
it doesn't taste
Wa-
bad,
Like
like-
Waffle House is one of those things where you either love it or you hate it.
it's
Or
the
that's- I've
experience
seen.
that sucks. The food is not that bad. If
No,
you
I
if
mean,
you go
to
to
me,
an
the
all right
experience
Waffle
is one of the
experience
best parts,
yeah,
man.
it's
dude,
like, dude, it's a waffle and eggs and hash. Like you can't
Sometimes
really
you get a
pretty hard to
guy
fuck
who's
up
just out of
breakfast.
prison,
Like it's
right? He's got tattoos. He's like cutting the
Dude.
thing
Oh,
with a
they only
knife.
hire people.
Every-
from
Or
prison.
no,
Everybody has
or the
a-
alternative is you get the morning crew, and it's like the what do they call it? The Miss Daisy crew, or oh man,
I swear, no, they
the-
set
the,
up
uh,
tents outside
Miss
the prison.
Sweetie crew in Atlanta.
like hiring, waiting to hire
now
people.
hire.
that
There's the
want
Miss
that, yeah.
Sweetie crew in
Yeah.
Atlanta, bro, and it's
Yeah.
like, all right. So Cody from the KMR team said this the best. It's like
Yeah.
if you walk into a Waffle House, what you want is someone who's on their last job and you know it's going to be a great day, versus someone who's on their first job. Because that's the difference, right? So you'll get like grandma in there, and she's just like cooking it up all nice. She's on because she's retired.
Yeah.
she's there for the love.
yeah.
But if you got someone on their first job, they're there hating life. They're out of prison.
I don't know. Those are always the
Either
best
way, I'm
stories,
having
dude.
a good time
Yeah,
though. I'm
seriously.
eating.
That's like-
You see all the good TikToks of the people fighting in Waffle Houses.
Oh, it's incredible.
I mean, you're
Everybody
still just
has
eating
a Waffle
and you're
House story,
jamming.
for sure.
What's your go-to? I mean, it's got to be All Star, right?
Yeah, All-Star Special chocolate chip waffle.
Damn,
Can't go wrong. Yeah.
throwing in the extra $1.
Hell yeah.
Chocolate
I don't
chip.
do like all the covered and smothered and
oh,
all
oh,
that
no?
all the way.
No, you gotta be covered and
that's
smothered?
too much. Because I mean, a lot of times like, dude, I still gotta work the next day at the track and whatever. I'm not trying to have mud butt and like bubble guts and shit,
Covered,
dog. Yeah,
smothered.
yeah,
over
that's
the
a
top.
little bit much.
I don't
All
give a shit.
the
I want the
things.
peppered. I want the covered. I want the smothered.
So I always
Yeah.
piss them off because I asked for my waffle first. And they look at me
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what? I'm like, because I don't want them at the same time. I don't want to eat a fucking egg and a waffle at the same time.
yeah.
Like, and then one of them's gonna get cold. So give me my waffle 1st. Let me jam through that sucker because it's the fastest thing to make, right? So I like to eat my waffle first and get through it, and then everyone calls me weird because I like to eat it from the center out.
What the
That's
fuck is
that's
wrong?
pretty fucking weird, dude.
Why are you eating from the
hold
center?
on. Have you always ate waffles from the center out?
Well, check it out, bro.
What
All right.
started?
The only time
I'm
I've ever
so
done that
curious
is like
right
with
now.
like a
you
tortilla
just-
back in the day. It's like fold it in half and you take a bite and you take a bite of the other side and then you can like
No,
make
no,
a little,
no.
little,
Like
little
the-
mask out of
when
it.
you make
know?
the snowflakes
Listen,
as a
man.
kid, like
Yeah,
fold the
yeah,
paper and
same
cut it.
thing.
Like, okay, how did you?
it's
Yeah,
a-
how do
I
you eat a
need to hear
waffle
this.
from the center. How do you even cut
I feel
it?
attacked
Please
right
go.
now. I feel
Please,
attacked.
no.
Are you using
I'm
a whole
genuinely
saw?
curious.
What
Like,
the
go ahead.
Like,
I thought you guys did it too.
what is going on here, dude?
I've
I
never,
think we're
That's
missing it.
impossible.
I've never
No.
heard this.
It's
before.
a math problem. It's a math problem, bro.
This is not a math
Okay.
problem.
Yes.
You're weird as hell.
Hey,
You're
I'm-
trying to justify it.
All right.
Go
I'm
ahead.
open-minded. I
How
wanna
many
hear this.
times are you guys getting the syrup and you're like, putting it around it and trying to like make sure you get the perfect bite? It's all about the perfect bite. So if
Okay.
you take your syrup, you're jamming it in the middle, and if you eat it from the middle out, your syrup
This
is now
fucking spread-
pulling and
holy
spreading
shit,
perfectly.
dude.
So I'm getting a perfect
Wow.
bite every time.
This might be the smartest shit I've ever fucking heard.
That's
Yeah.
pretty nice, but I always do syrup
And
on
it
the
keeps it
side.
contained.
It keeps it
I just-
contained.
I do like a little bit
Perfect
on top.
bite.
Yeah, it doesn't
and
get
then
all
I just
soggy
dip.
by the end.
Because I'm a perfect bite all
Alright.
the way to the last bite kind of guy. Like I plan my bites out on whatever
Holy
I'm
shit.
eating. Yeah, so I
This
gotta
is,
have every
It
flavor.
does
get
make a
mixed in.
lot of sense.
Yeah. And I don't like my salts and my sugars at the same time. So
I don't
not
like
gonna
it
lie,
because it's new and
I'm
frightening,
gonna,
though.
I'm gonna
you
try
know?
this.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm fucking. My mind's pretty blown right now. That's all right.
all right, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Jeez.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know if I can do that.
That was
that's
Damn,
too
I was
frightening
not
for
expecting that. That was fucking
No.
A, dude.
Yeah.
me. No, too frightening.
I've been to a lot of Waffle Houses. I put some thought into it.
Yo, I don't.
And I bet you
I
they
can't- I
look at
can't
you
tell the
real weird
story.
when you do that.
Oh, everyone does.
Well, what you should do is cut that center hole in the waffle and then take the waffle in the bathroom and see how weird they look at you.
Nope.
No,
Whoa.
no.
Sounds like something you would do.
Shit.
All right, what's next?
What is next? All right, so Pro 2, crashed a lot, burnt myself out, got over it. There's a lot of money.
You crashed the car a bunch, then you sold it to someone else.
Crashed the car, fixed it, killed myself to get to the next event. Crashed it again. Yeah, all that shit. Then COVID happened. I actually started tearing the car down for 2020. Yeah, 2020. COVID went down. Achilles getting bought out. I lost transport. COVID, all that shit. And then basically it was like, okay, well, I need a break. I'm burnt out. Doesn't look like we're going to be racing this year. So pretty much the car had sat in the back of Gretty in pieces ever since then. I think I pulled it out like 6 months ago. Pulled it out, wiped it off, took a couple pictures, and fucking went right back, dude. Like, I don't know. It's just,
Wait. I thought you sold it.
I did. So
That's why you
I
pulled it
wanted
out
to get
to
it.
take the
Yeah,
pictures.
well, no. Like, so that was actually super random. So I wanted to like get the car back up and running, but it's just like one of those things where, dude, I didn't even want to look at that car. Like, I love that car, but just for how burnt out I was, it's just like, you know, like anytime just thinking about working on it was just, I don't know. I'd lost all fucking motivation, I guess. You know.
No, I feel you.
So it was really hard to get motivation, especially I started like after COVID happened, I started getting a lot more how you say, like started putting a lot more energy into my work at Gretty, you know, like learning new stuff. Like I taught myself like during COVID, taught myself how to like do 3D modeling with the CAD stuff, you know, 3D printing, building computers. So there's a lot more stuff that started
You're
kind
becoming
of
an
taking my
adult.
energy. Yeah,
Smart,
basically.
smart moves.
And just like, you know, just learning how to do more shit, you know, be outside
You're
of racing.
weeding yourself off the
More
drug.
shit that you can do for
Yeah.
the rest of your life and not break your back.
Exactly.
Too. Yeah.
You know, and just growing.
Yeah,
You know, growing
yeah.
myself.
Do you think if it wasn't a 240, like if it was a Honda, maybe you wouldn't have got burnt out?
Well, so actually, I had a Honda. I still had.
He would
my
never got his
RSX.
license. That's the problem.
But, well, so that's the thing is like I actually once I you know, I left Gretty beginning of January. And when I picked up the car, it was just funny. Like randomly, Aaron Drifts with the RB215. We were talking about him earlier. He replied to like my story. I think I posted a story of it like on the trailer leaving Gretty or something. And I forgot what he said, but I was pretty much like, I just heard he got this JZX that I had been trying to get from Jason Kim for years. Jason Kim sold it to someone else. This dude Brandon, he bought it, put a kit on it, painted it, got it all super nice. Drifted it a few times, pulled the motor, and then sold it to Aaron. So I hit up, I replied to him, and I'm like, hey, you know, just joking, like, hey, like, I'll trade you for that JZX. And he's just like, are you serious? Because I'm pretty down. I'm like, well, I mean, I wasn't, but now that you're kind of down, like, I think
Down,
I'm kind of
kinda
down.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just like,
yeah.
dude,
This
I
all
love
right.
JZXs.
Yeah. You driven some in Japan, right?
So I mean, I didn't even make it home.
Yeah.
Like, I'm halfway down the 405,
Yeah.
and like basically, like, oh shit. Well, I think I'm about to go fucking pick up a
Turn
JZX.
around.
Yeah, like just
All right.
I already got it loaded up on the trailer. Might as well just
No
take it out in
shit.
and go pick up the JZX. So that's
Wow.
basically what happened. You know.
Wow.
You know.
That's some
when I woke up
quick
that morning.
decisions
today,
there.
I mean, it was crazy. So once
Sometimes you got to think fast if you want a good deal.
dude, when I left Gretty,
Yeah.
and then just kind of started focusing on myself and like, you know, taking more time to get my shit together, I guess, and kind of focus on the things I'd been like neglecting in my life, like everything else outside of work and whatever. Dude, everything just started falling into place, and it was just kind of
Yeah.
just going with the flow. So
Yeah.
like, dude, this year, I mean, we're only end of February, 2 months in, and like, I'm not even lying. It's probably like it's turning out to be like one of the greatest years of my life.
Nice.
I've
Very good, man.
just
thing?
yeah, it's just like less stress.
Mm-hmm.
You know, focusing on myself. Like I spent a lot of time and energy helping other people, and then there's nothing wrong with that. but like I said, I started neglecting my own shit for the sake of helping out other people. So like I kind of just decided like, dude, this year, like I don't know, it might sound selfish, but dude, I need to focus on my shit. Like it is
Yet
what
you're
it
here
is.
doing this podcast
I mean,
for
like,
us.
well, no, but that's the thing.
Selfish is a good thing.
Like I enjoy this type of stuff. So like one of the things
Yeah.
I've been doing is going to like this coffee shop and just meeting new people and like studying the. So for those that don't know, decided to leave Gretty and then pursue what's it called? Aviation, yeah, like get my commercial pilot's license. So that's basically what I've been doing. So going to this coffee shop.
You've been
studying.
talking to Tommy at all?
Tommy
Sewell? XFD driver, pilot, plane junkies.
Steve Chan was just brought him up the other night.
Yeah, you talked to
I don't
him.
think I don't know if I've ever met him, but
He's a good
they were
dude.
just talking
Yeah,
about him. He says,
similar
like, he
kind of
flies
thing.
out.
Real good
Small
dude,
planes.
and he'd help you out with anything you needed.
He has
And-
his own company or something.
Yeah, CEO of the.
So that's like that's the thing.
what
Like,
is
dude,
it?
I'm
CEO of what?
What is it? I'm trying to think of the something smart or
the company.
I forget the name of the company. Yeah,
Okay.
offhand, but they do charter flights. They have a bunch of jets. And,
that's right.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's an awesome thing to do, and there's like so many niche jobs out there like to do with that.
There's
Yeah,
a lot
like
of
once you
FD
go
drivers
commercial.
actually. Not a lot. There's well, this is all right. That's totally wrong. This is maybe the fourth FD driver that fifth.
That flies.
Tommy Sewell, Brandon Sorensen, Amanda Sorensen.
They both fly as
Tommy
well?
Sewell. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
Tanner-
can go down a whole
Tanner
path. Of that.
Faust.
Tanner Faust.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Okay.
I bet it's something that's comes pretty natural to an FD driver with the amount of control that we have to have over.
Yeah,
a
except there's
motorized
like no
vehicle.
handbrake to make the plane go sideways.
We
I
can
mean,
figure
like
that shit out.
I will say there is a ton more that, not that I didn't expect. I guess I just didn't realize like how much on the knowledge side, like even just getting your private pilot's license, like how much is involved, like, as far as the ground school and like book stuff. Like it's just. Like everything from like reading weather, like aviation weather is gnarly, like so you have to learn. You basically become like a, what do they call it? Like a meteorologist.
Yep.
Yeah, like
Yep.
on like you have
Yep.
to study weather and know how to read all these charts and stuff and like.
Was there a lot of like mechanical requirements as far as like knowing how the plane works and knowing how to
So-
do safety checks and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Like,
Okay.
and that's another thing. So
Yeah.
there was a course. I just finished my ground school course the other day, so I could start doing the practice stuff. But one of the last sections of that was basically like balancing the weight and everything in
Yeah.
the plane and
Yep.
calculating like center
Yep.
of gravity and then like
Even if
Basically,
your
like-
load isn't strapped down and it shifts to the back
That's-
of the
that's
that'll-
a whole thing,
There's
yeah,
a whole
like-
big crash. There's a one video of that one plane that's like goes up and it kind of it's like a cargo plane from a
the FedEx one I think or
I
UPS.
think so. Yeah, and they
it's-
lost
yeah.
cargo. It slid to the back of the
Yeah.
plane on takeoff, and they got
Yeah,
it
basically
up, got into a stall,
nose-
and
yeah.
just and there's nothing you can do.
Weird side note for everyone. Andy likes watching planes crashes on his free time.
Well, no.
To be honest, I
20 is another story about 2016, the year that I was spotting for you. I flew more that year than any other year in my life, and I was super into watching the aircraft disaster show. I literally watched like every single episode.
He told me this, and I was like, "You
and
have
every
problems."
single plane I hop on, I'm like, I open up the thing and I see what type of plane it is, and I'm like, oh, I know what can crash these. I know about the jack screw problem on the 737s, where all of a sudden they're just in a bank and the thing just boom, right
Yeah,
into
he's
the
telling me
ground.
this stuff as I'm about to get on a plane. I'm like, I don't want to hear
All
this.
because of a loose jack screw. The same,
Andy's
thi-
showing
the
his-
same
his,
jack screw
middle
that's
seat
in
neighbor.
between. You know, like those little scissor jacks, the ones that go up and down like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this jack screw. That's exactly what it uses. One of those goes bad, or it snaps on those 737s, and they
Yeah.
lose tail control, and then everybody dies. It's awesome. You know, it's great stuff to be watching. You guys should
Thanks,
watch more
Andy.
of it, you
It's
know?
awesome.
Yeah,
So
aviation.
I mean, I started watching a lot of those, like crashes, but
Yeah.
it's more from the standpoint of
So did you-
not just for
You wanna learn
like,
the
fun,
mecha- I
but
like to
more of
learn
like
them- yeah.
Well, it's more like the mistakes of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
other pilots. So like you
Yeah.
learn from other people's mistakes and kind of like
Okay,
you know, there's this one. So Emmy, he works. You guys know Emmy from Megan.
Yeah.
So he's doing the same. He's pretty far along. He showed me this one YouTube I started following, and like the dude basically breaks down every single aviation accident, you know, that breaks down like pretty much the whole investigation. So like it's like so that's one of the things to go back on, like what I would watch. It's like that kind of stuff. I'll watch his YouTube because like you can learn something from that. You know, it's like beneficial rather than like just him.
And
going around.
You still
about
find.
his
I mean,
type
you
of
find
stuff,
that
you know?
stuff very. I find it very interesting to see what mechanically
It's-
and then the thought process they go through. And a lot of times, a lot of those crashes are just attributed to the pilot just being in this panic state of mind and not being able to think clearly and just assess the situation rationally.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so hard to assess something rationally when you're literally in a plane falling out of the sky. Like it's very difficult.
Well, not
to
only
do.
that, but like, you know, I was watching this one. I think it was Malaysia company, or maybe it was like Thailand or something. They would go against like kind of the laws of like overworking pilots. So, you know, you could only be working for so many hours, and you have to have so many hours of rest.
Yep.
But they would like pay these pilots under the table.
Do a
to
little
like
extra.
go you know, kind of disregard that, and one of the planes crashed, and they ended up doing this whole investigation, finding that out, and like
Sleepy
long
pilots.
story short, that airline's toasted. Yeah, the thing's gone.
You know, back to Andy's point real quick about being distracted or however you said it, not being able to think clear-minded on the situation.
5-minute calls are the same way.
That freaking no that stupid in sim drifting,
Yeah.
that stupid T-Rex.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was freaking drifting the other day,
Yeah.
and somebody had the T-Rex, and they were like hunting me down,
dude.
and I was like, you know, on a normal day, you're drifting and you do the same course like over and over, no problem. And I'm just like laughing and kind of like, oh crap, like looking at the T-Rex. So like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna chase you. I'm like, couldn't think rationally to do a lap for my life because I'm like
super
giggling and like
distracted,
looking in the mirrors, like, oh, look at the T-Rex. Like,
probably
same
great-
thing.
it's
If you're
probably
probably
great
scared,
practice.
you're probably
Yeah.
like, oh shit, you know, same thing. Like, couldn't do a lap.
That too.
Where do I
and,
get that car pack or whatever? I need to
With the dyno?
Need to, yeah, I
with
need
the
to try
dyno,
that thing
I'll
out.
send it to you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You need,
so
you need the
freaking
T-Rex.
That, and then that one Kazuya Taguchi posted it one time. There's like almost like a Hot Wheels like neon rave looking track course. I need that one too.
Yeah, sick.
All right, so where
Where were we at? So we got past.
I think we're getting towards the end of your pro
let's talk
spec
about
license, and you're ready to make a
talk
new
about
move.
your FD career.
How did
your
that come
career
about?
at FD. Your career not spending money
like,
with FD, but making money off FD.
Yeah.
How about that?
The switch.
Yeah, the switch.
switch.
Switch
The
up.
big switch. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. So it pretty
how
much
d-
started with Kevin Wells.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, as drivers, every driver, I feel like Kevin kind of knows like the nitty gritty of like everything that's going on with the drivers, because like he's the one that's there in that moment when drivers are heated and
He
they're
is
just fucking
ground
unloading
floor.
it.
Kevin
Yeah,
Wells is.
He always
been,
pulls up in his golf cart at all the wrong times. God damn it.
Well, Kevin Wells was also
I'll be working on right when we crash, right when something bad happens, he pulls up and I'm like, what are you doing here?
Kevin Wells was crew chief for Chris Forsberg for many years.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that actually. Huh?
And so he owns what is it, LS Spec,
Yeah.
and you know that was
LS
his
motor
shop,
or something.
and so he is one of us, right? He's a peer. He knows what's up. He knows
That's
how to work
why he
on
lets
engines.
Chris Forsberg cheat all the time.
Fucker.
You know, just lets him just cheat with everything. You know.
So when he
man.
got into it, you know, it was like a lot of respect was given, and a lot of people were very excited when he got into his position.
Yeah.
So
And
and he keeps it to the ground floor with all of us. You know,
he does.
It's like-
Yeah, he's real good at that.
Kevin's
yeah.
straight up,
Yeah.
and dude's crazy. Like he's
Yeah.
smart as hell.
Yep.
Like
Great
has
tech,
good ideas.
Great tech guy.
Like I couldn't think of anyone more perfect for that job.
Yeah.
Before him, it was a little bit interesting. There
Remember
was
Randy from SCCA.
Yeah,
that's
that guy
before
was
my time.
Yeah.
out of control. That guy was.
He was always cool with me. What did you go with him?
No, I mean nothing bad.
He just didn't know how to tech drift.
He didn't know what the
cars.
fuck he's doing.
No.
No, he was like, all right, hey, you're in charge of making sure they got like their fire stuff. And
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah. It was very lax back then. Yeah.
Yeah, there
that's
was back when
definitely
we
before
used
my
to go
time.
to UTI to tech the cars, and we'd put them on their the lifts, and they would check them, and they'd have all the students come out and look at underneath the cars, and they'd go, you know, with their little like check sheet.
The
Literally-
21-point checklist.
Exactly,
Or something,
like 100-point
Like
check
it's a
sheet
fucking
to make sure,
dealership.
like they're poking it like bushings,
Yeah.
that are like, oh, I think this bushing's worn out.
Fucking
Like, all right, yeah, this is a
tire
tech sheet for
tread measurement.
Yeah,
and shit.
no,
Yeah.
exactly, 100% just like
Yeah.
that. And it's like, dude, you're ridiculous. Get out of here.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you found that generic tech sheet off the internet from
Yeah.
something, and like, okay, yeah, this
Yeah.
will do it. Like,
That was an absolute joke. And given it was just what they wanted to do for the sponsorship probably at the day.
yeah,
But
Was UTI?
well, we didn't know much,
Partner?
and
and pro cars were not pro cars then.
Well, no, and a lot of the rules that were made over the years were kind of a result of things happening on track. Like we,
Oh, yeah.
we had the bladdered fuel cell because Brandon Wicknick blew his
Oh,
car up.
Palm Beach.
Yeah, we have fire suppression because that one's more obvious. But yeah, there's several rules in there that are just kind of
I mean, that's just the
no
evolution
aluminum
of
bash
drifting.
bars.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
like-
evolutions.
Like
Yeah.
every time anything comes up, and that's a lot of what I've experienced just in this past year of doing the driver steward thing is just drifting is like a relatively new sport still. It's going to be going on 20 years now, but like compared to other motorsports, like it's still super young. So there's so many things that haven't been ran
We're all
into
really
yet.
slow individuals, so you just got to give us time to develop the sport a little bit more. I swear we'll get there.
I mean, just even from
we
the
just
rule
got
book
held
side
back
of
a
things.
couple of
Yeah.
grades, in the motorsports world, but we'll get there.
Like the rule book side of things, like no matter how much you think about, like, okay, we're gonna implement this rule, we got to figure out the wording. You try and think of like every single like, I guess what's the
Workaround?
word?
Gray
Well,
area.
any sort of situation that would apply to this rule, and we have like a lot of people probably don't know, but like there's a lot of discussions internally with FD between like myself, the judges, Sage, Kevin, like everybody discussed a ton, all these minds put together, trying to think of any possible scenario where this simple little rule will cover.
Yep.
But then it's like, 2-3 events in, something happens that it's just like, well, shit. Fuck, nobody thought of that.
Yeah, that
like,
didn't work,
it-
or
yeah,
that-
yeah,
yeah,
that
nobody-
totally just shitted on that thing,
Yeah.
So I mean, like, people just gotta understand, it's a new sport. Things will
Yep.
come up,
Yep.
things get revised, but
The more rules you have, though, the more you put yourself in a corner.
that's one of the things that I've been learning is like, especially the more rules you have, the more stuff you say, the more
Is
things
that the last
you try
beer?
and
Are we
you
gonna fight for it?
You want one more?
like the more
still got
the
one
more
of yours in
technical you make things.
I drank them both.
You drinking both?
Yep.
Yeah, the more technical you make things and like define
We can
all
split
that,
it.
especially in drifting, it kind of just backs you into a corner for when those things go wrong. Because then it's just like, well, you said this, but now if you think about it, the right thing to do might be to go against that. So it's like you were better off just not saying anything.
I feel like it seemed simpler when there was less rules because we kind of didn't challenge it so much,
That's
a
the
lot of
thing.
situations kind of arise nowadays because I think that the level of competition is so serious. There's so much money on the line as far as what people are spending in sponsorships and what
Yeah,
they
for
can
sure.
gain from getting sponsorships that it's become a lot more cutthroat with how the decisions are not with how decisions were made, but how decisions are challenged, I'd
Yeah.
say. And there's people that are willing to just die on that hill that their argument that their driver's right or whatever or the other guy made the mistake or whatever. And I feel like it's more about who makes the better argument, almost like who's got the better lawyer in the tower. Your spotter / lawyer is the one who's going to make that argument for you.
Yeah.
And if he makes a really good argument that's better than the other guy's argument, it could favor one direction or the other. But if you make that argument in the heat of the moment and it's a better argument than the other guys, you might see them take your side of it just because,
So for me, it's not so much like it doesn't really. That's how do you say that? Like, just like, okay, so backstory, like with being the driver steward, I'm the one that kind of hears all those arguments. I'm kind of like that first line of connection or communication or whatever with the teams.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, like, it really doesn't matter, like, the argument that they're bringing. I just need to know, like, okay, I saw whatever happened happen. I just need you to tell me if you saw what I saw, and like a lot of times, like I'm already going through the rule book and like identifying the section before they even walk in, because I'm like, okay, that just happened.
Yeah.
I know they're gonna come in.
Yeah.
And let me find this,
Yep.
and it's like, okay, that's what it would be. Are
So
they
you need
coming
that
to
on
me
a, you
with
need that
that
on a little yellow
if they
card
are?
that you can just throw in their face.
Well, not so much that. It's just more of like confirmation, because
Yeah.
there's also times where guys are just trying to
Well,
like go against
let's
any.
break it down for
anything
the
type of
fans right
thing.
now that are listening
Uh-huh.
or watching, listening, that don't know your position and how it works and like the effect of it. So basically, as an FD driver, if I make maybe a mistake or not a mistake, whatever the outcome, I disagree with the outcome, and I can go protest the outcome of the judging. Basically, I request my spotter, or I get out of my car and I walk upstairs to the judging tower and I go kick on the door. You're the guy I got to go talk to, right? I got to talk to you
basically, yeah.
and basically convince you that I have an argument saying that the judges missed a point, right, and made the wrong decision.
But it has to be.
So how does that work?
It cannot be subjective. So that's I'm guilty of it as well. Before this year, like a lot of teams still don't realize that.
And we'll explain the subjective part in a second, because that's a big part of it.
Well, so that's what I'm trying to get into.
So subjective being drifting is like, all right, how much angle do you have? That's subjective because we do not
everything
have
about
an
drifting is
exact.
subjective, basically.
Well, an angle,
For the
we don't
most
have an
part.
exact protractor saying, hey, he's at this angle. But if a tire is over a line, you can look at it and go, okay, if you have the camera angles, you can visually look at it and go, okay, it was 2 tires, 3 tires, 1 tire off, right? That's not subjective. That was, this did happen, and you can clearly see
So
it.
that's probably one of the only cases where a protest would actually be valid, which a lot of guys don't realize is like, they're trying to protest because they didn't agree with the call. They thought this guy's mistakes outweighed this guy's mistakes.
Yeah,
and
that's
they personally feel
very
that
hard to prove.
oh, like I wouldn't have picked
I
him.
would
But it's
think
just like
track
for
location
one,
or braking. Braking is the next biggest thing that did the driver deaccelerate at a certain rate or slam on the brakes at the wrong location, because now you have the decel zone, which is a rule,
but the other
and
thing
the rule
is-
puts you in another corner. So now you have to argue.
But that's
When that happens.
that's also subjective as well. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's okay, who's gonna decide if he was braking too hard or braking in the wrong spot? Who's gonna like?
It's the braking too late that gets to me, because like it's kind of your job as when you're trying to go fast is to stretch those braking points as late as possible. So if you do that and you get dinged because you decelled after the decel zone, I don't think that should. I think that's weighed too heavily. I have an instance that I did that, but I messed up in the instance, and it was still my fault. I still agree that it was my fault in Salt Lake or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you decel like slightly after the decel zone and you can still make it work, I don't think you should be dinged for that. I feel like you just braked later.
Let's
well,
keep the audience.
I want to touch on that
before you
real quick.
continue, just in case the audience doesn't know, because we may have some few new fans that aren't aware of it. The decel zone is a designated area that we are allowed to decel in, meaning that we can brake. We can
Very clear on
decelerate
the
very
map.
fast.
Basically,
and the reason that's
anywhere-
designed is because the majority of the drivers decelled in that location.
Well,
right?
that's how they are. Those points are identified. But the whole point of the decel zone is to basically protect the chaser. You're as a judge, you're asking these drivers to be inches from each other's door at 80 plus miles an hour, and like at that proximity and that speed, things happen real quick. Like any little change in any input can be detrimental to like that
So
chase
I
driver.
have a decel zone up on the screen
yeah.
now.
So
That's going to be like
those red clips, like those
down here
are
or up
identified
here.
by.
It's going to be somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to put that little box.
There's this little
Maybe it'll
box.
be floating around.
And you happen to pull up
Yeah.
the Seattle one, which is entertaining because in 2022 we had plenty of interesting arguments about the decel zone markers.
I was not there, so I watched the live stream from the comfortable couch. Probably right
So, for entertainment purposes, and guys, feel free to comment below and give your opinion on this. If you're looking at this decel zone, over years and years, we have used that first decel zone that you can see on the map coming off the big bank as a section to either downshift, handbrake, lift. But it has been, for years, that's been the decel zone. And I'm pretty sure that you're probably looking at a not 22 map. You're probably looking at like a 21,
that says black view, so that's
Ooh,
pretty,
that's old.
yeah. That's
and
pretty
so
old.
it's been this way for
2016, there you go.
years. And then in 22,
6 years ago.
we looked at a bunch, or we didn't. The judges looked at a bunch of data and said that no one is decelling there, therefore no one should be hitting the handbrake or making any moves. And it was entertaining that literally every driver was like, no, we all slow down there. And they're like, no, you don't. And we were like,
So
we all
let
pop a
me,
handbrake or do something that abrupts us, and we all understand that we do some shit there. We know that we do.
Let me touch on that because like there's a lot of stuff that goes down in the driver's meeting because like I see both sides of it, and like a lot of times things aren't explained as well as they should, I guess, or the point isn't given across. So like that whole thing that went down, like these zones, it's basically during practice the judges are watching and they see runs that they like. So they'll have Kevin pull the data on those cars. And that, pool of what runs they did like is what determines this map.
Yeah.
So that's not necessarily like they're not pulling from every single car.
Yeah.
Or like, so I think that's kind of where things get kind of confused.
That's the difference of pulling the average, right? You're pulling the medium instead of the other averages.
So it's pretty much they're basing this off of their idea of a 100-point run, and taking those runs of like, okay, that's going to be a high, closest to a 100-point run.
Yeah.
These 10 cars are what we thought were the best. So that's what we're determining this.
And the 100-point run is
Yeah.
still a subjective thing. I mean, really,
Yeah.
like,
I mean, at the end of the day, should you do a 360 coming into the wall? Like,
dude, speaking of 360s,
you got to do it. Like, if you think it's dumb, you might as well just go home.
Every judge,
Hold
or
on, I
not
gotta
every
open
judge,
up Content Manager here for a
Oh,
minute.
jeez.
they always say, guys, run your 100-point run during your tandem battles to make sure that, you're doing what
qualifying
you
or
do.
tandem?
Well, they say run, during tandem, run your 100-point run. And I'm always like, bro, no one's gotten 100. We're all running our 80 to 90-point runs. No one's running a 100-point run because there's only been 3 in the history of drifting in FD. So it's just kind of a funny thing.
Well,
it's like, nah,
theoretically,
dude, we're all running 90-point
There should
runs.
never be the 100-point run,
When I'm judging, I would never give like. Oh damn!
It's the reverse 360.
Is this a sneak peek of
Oh, crap. I lost the button.
hot pit layout right
Actually,
here?
this
or-
is
Still-
a
still on
sneak peek
VR.
of
It
Hot
is.
Pit.
It is
Yeah.
a sneak peek.
Yeah.
So we'll go.
Oh, reverse.
If this comes out early, this is Hot Pit at Irwindale. We had these guys make the track for us.
Nice.
And, I think they're going to be doing some virtual
Reverse.
competitions.
It's like a
damn.
backwards 360 thing.
Jesus, wow. And
Alright.
you suck. Hate you.
I'm not gonna lie, I fucking suck on Sims.
It's
I
awesome,
can't. I
though.
can't do it, dude.
All
Okay,
right.
okay. I will say I will bang laps with Tando buddies at fucking drift playground.
If
I'm
you're
a
saying
basic.
that,
I'm a basic.
it's because he has a crap wheel.
No, I got a Fanatec. Like, yeah, I've messed with the settings. I don't know every
Try
car.
well, you're gonna try
all
my
of-
setup.
all of the
after we're
guys-
done here.
1 o'clock last night
So-
in the morning, Richard Devani was on sucking ass, and I was like, I hopped because you can in a set of course. You can literally hop in someone's car and watch their wheel at work, right?
Yeah, you can
You're
sit in
seeing
their
their
passenger
steering
seat,
wheel.
yeah.
You're seeing
Yeah.
So I'm watching him drive, and I'm just like, hey, Richard, it looks like your car is driving like really numb. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, I'm in your car right now watching you drive, and I'm watching your inputs. I don't see his
Turning
arms
the
or anything,
wheel
but I'm
like a
watching the
quarter,
wheel.
but it's not
And
doing
I'm just like, I'm
anything.
watching your wheel, how slow it's rotating. And I'm like, our cars don't drive like that. So for some reason, your car is
What wheels do you
rotating.
have?
He has a really good DD wheel, like it's a direct
Something's
drive.
up with it,
And then so
yeah.
I sent him the settings
The
that you
mystified-
sent me.
The mystified settings.
The mystified
yeah,
settings.
Yeah,
I sent them to him, and he was
Yeah.
like, holy crap, Jeff, you just like changed night and day of how good this feels now.
Yeah.
So settings make such a huge difference. It's like alignment, right?
That helped
tried,
you a lot with your wheel, right?
It was so good.
Right,
So good.
the VDC cars are so much better now after that. Yeah.
I tried Chris's settings, Hawkeyes.
Okay.
Like up, Chris Like up.
Yeah.
Did you try his wheel or?
Well, he sent me like his settings, and I put
Okay.
it into my Fanatec because that was when he was still
Yeah,
running the
yeah,
Fanatec
yeah.
stuff. I don't know. Still, like I just.
You know, settings
takes-
are
how
a
mu-
personal thing. Though.
But also, how much time did
Yeah.
you put into it?
Well, so okay, I
Oh,
will
you,
say
are you on VR or are you on?
I do have VR,
Yeah.
but like I get fucking motion. It's just the lack of. If I had a motion rig, I think VR would work with me. It's just the lack of motion.
You
Ooh,
got-
I wonder if that would be a
How
thing.
much
I wonder if that would
how much
help.
time have you put
You know.
into
You
get
actually
seasick?
trying though?
I will say it definitely VR driving with VR does feel better.
So much
But did
better.
you put like a lot of time into it? Because literally for me,
not a
I had
ton,
the
not
same
a ton.
thing. I would do until I felt shitty. I would play and then I'd take it off, and
Yeah.
I did that for maybe like 2 weeks,
Uh-huh.
and then I was able to finally like sit in a full session and
Yeah.
do it. But I'd still get like a weird headache afterwards, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't feel
like behind the eyes and
like
shit,
I'd have
yeah.
like a mild seasickness.
I wonder
seasickness
if you
as
could
well.
trick yourself, like literally as you're going into a corner, like just throw your body that way and then this way, just because like you'd be tricking yourself into knowing. the
I'll
turns
just
of it.
stand behind him with the seat and just shake
Yeah.
him around. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, dude,
Like
they
the
got
little
those,
kid in the basket as they went up
they
in
got
the
those
course.
like $2,000
Oh,
Amazon
no, I'm not
motion
saying
rigs.
it because I just got a good idea for a reel. I got to write it down.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Go
Hell
ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, let's get back. Let's get back into what you do. We really trailed off hard there.
Yeah, we've
because
been,
I saw the decel zone in Washington, and I trailed us off way bad. So that's the decel zone. That's where a driver can have an issue, and that's where we go up to you to argue and yell at you, so that we can go argue and yell at the judges, so that we can overturn a thing. So how does that go for you up there? Are you having fun? Are you seeing the bad side of every driver? Are you like, this driver protests every
So,
time and he sucks and he always loses anyways?
I've seen definitely.
Who's the guy that protests every time? The consistent. Who's protested the most?
I mean,
Jeff
I'm
Jones.
not gonna put anybody
Jeff
on
Jones
the spot.
Racing for sure.
I want to know who.
I'm not.
Who?
I get mad, but I don't usually protest.
No, I'm not gonna put anybody
Say
on the spot.
say it into my ear right here.
but-
Say it to my ear.
No, but there's not like
Just say it-
one.
say it
one
quietly into my
driver,
ear.
though, because a lot of the times, like
Yeah, right next to the mic. Yeah, right here. Right
Come on, tell me.
the
Tell
thing
me.
is, like I'm the original reason I took this job was to be that person, like to like everybody in the tower. Like Pat's got a million things going on, like, and before the driver steward position, he was also the one that was dealing with that, and he was the one that was.
I've yelled at
basically-
him before.
He's trying to talk to
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
like he's race control. For those that don't know,
doesn't deserve that.
Pat does race control. He's the one that makes sure the track is safe to run and talking with all the track staff and everything. But then he was also doing, he was connected with the live stream production guys. So he's also like trying to time commercials and all this shit that's going on, and then dealing with
He's like
things
that-
that are going down in the pit and like drive, like with
It's like
Kevin.
being an air traffic controller and
Seriously,
having to do
dude.
all that other stuff
He
as well.
has
like,
a million things going on.
Yeah.
And
So
if the
they
cars
needed,
crash on track, it's all his fault because
Yeah.
he told them to drive into each other.
like shit gets crazy. So like the last thing he needs is someone kicking down the door
Right.
and
Like,
coming in fucking yelling at
"Why
him
did
when
I
he's
lose?"
he's trying. And like a lot of times, like he doesn't mean to, but like like he kind of was just like hold on, because he's trying to fucking he
Yeah.
has like 10 people yelling
I'm
in his
pretty
ear.
sure
and like
I'm pretty sure I
get it,
bothered him
dude.
in that moment.
Andy
before.
always
100%
yells at
get it.
people. That's why you put up that
Yeah.
video.
Which one?
Hold on, I'm not gonna do what you think I'm gonna do.
And flip out, man.
That's so Andy.
Yeah,
How many
shut
times
up.
does Andy protest?
I've actually never protested.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever.
What?
I've never. Yeah. We normally like I'll ask Westies and he'll be like, I think I asked him maybe once this year and he's like, I was like, find the rule, and he's like, I don't see a rule in here about it. And it was I don't know if I should mention it or not. Maybe we'll take it out. Maybe not. Derek Madison, he stuck his hand out the window.
What event was that?
This Salt Lake, our final run. He gave me a
Okay. Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
don't-
did
I don't,
bring it
like,
up. That was
hate him
reviewed.
for it.
That
Yeah.
was reviewed,
Yeah.
and they did get
But I
on
was
him
like,
about
that's,
that.
That's kind of.
But there wasn't any.
I
anything,
would
yeah.
so argue that if you won that way, I'd call you the biggest bitch.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
like, who
yeah.
the fuck
No,
cares?
I didn't want to protest against it, but I think I asked him, is there a rule against that?
why?
Yeah.
Who cares?
You'd be surprised at what. Again, I'm not going to get into details of
But,
who
yeah.
or what, but you'd be surprised if like
That
some
dude
of the
kicked
stuff
your
people
ass.
has
If
tried.
he kicked
Like,
your ass, he kicked your ass.
Yeah.
but that's the thing. Like some dudes or like some teams will come up, and I'm just like,
But I mean, there's levels
really?
to that, though.
Like,
So,
is that really how you want to play that?
I've gotten on Kyle a few times where Kyle was like, but he did this or whatever. I'm like,
Mohan.
but he kicked your ass.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Yeah.
You know, like you're not gonna go up there and protest.
Well, that-
he kicked your ass.
Well,
The
no,
thing with
that's what it came
protests
down
Like
to.
the thing with
we blew
Ryan,
we blew our
uh,
motor. Like we weren't gonna ride. If we protested at all, like it would have been there would have been no final battle. Like it was pointless. We were done. You know,
That's
we're
one of
out.
the things with the protests is like, so for one,
And it didn't
there's-
bother me that
there's-
much. I just was wondering if it was against the rule. I was like, is
Yeah.
that really against the rules? Like, or is there a rule
I
against that?
remember going through it
Yeah,
and looking.
yeah.
But yeah, they did get on him about
But
that.
you want
but
the
there's
better
nothing.
driver to move forward. It really sucks. Like legit, the first time I beat Osbo, it's because he beat it, and that was amazing that I got to beat Osbo.
Yeah,
but I
that's when
didn't
I
beat
that's when I was
Osbo.
yelling and screaming. And
Osbo beat
Papadakis looked
Osbo.
over
I
at me,
just
I'm like-
I just did a run,
And he looked over at me like, "Really, you're really excited about like
Yeah.
us beating and you winning?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." Like,
We'll
dude, my
fucking
boy
take
just-
it, dude.
We'll take it, man.
I mean,
like,
my only takeaway that I was happy about that was like, oh, you lowered your air pressure that much because you thought that I was, gonna
Yeah.
take you out. So
Yeah.
that's my only like happiness takeaway from
Yeah.
that. But at the same time, I want to win like at someone at their freaking best. I
Yeah.
never want to beat
I mean,
someone
that's
at their
everybody, like
Yeah.
you, and that goes.
It's
with
definitely not everybody. There's a lot of drivers
Well, okay,
that are fucking.
but I mean, like
not
for
the same.
this goes with that whole spirit of drifting thing of like people helping everybody out. It's like you don't want this guy to not be able to pull up to the line. If you have the parts, you're gonna help him because like I want to beat him like straight up. I want to run it. I want to run this battle and like and both of us at 100%, not have someone back out or lose.
Remember
on a
2 years
technicality
ago?
I
or
want to
something.
beat you and then beat you over and over again.
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. Like
That's
you
like
know what I mean.
I want to
Like, that-
beat you and then
Yeah.
like later on
Yeah.
have some beers and just
Yeah.
fucking throw that
Yeah.
shit in your face,
Yeah.
dude. Like
Remember
it's just like
2
shooting
years
the shit
ago,
with the homies.
I got
So,
fourth place against I went up against JTP.
Yeah.
And his car, he had like just hit the wall or whatever,
Mm.
and I was like legit ready to hop under his car and help him, because like everyone's like, oh shit, if he doesn't finish his car, you're gonna get third place. It's gonna be great. And I'm like, because it was during COVID and we were
Yeah.
doing the third place battle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I do not
missed
want my
third place
first
battle.
podium this way.
No.
I just do not.
No.
I was like, it was so bittersweet. I'm like looking at him. I'm like, oh, the clock's ticking. He's under his car, and I'm like, oh, dude, there's no way. I
Especially
want to hop
when-
under his car and help. I do not want this way.
especially when you've been, say it does come up to where you're talking podium stuff and you've put in a ton of work to getting to that event, but then you also drove your ass off and won all those previous battles. So now it's just like, bro, if I win this because of a technicality, like I don't want anybody saying shit and like
Devalues you.
just devaluing everything that I just put in to get to this point. Like I'm gonna make sure, like, no, fuck that. Like I'm winning this shit fair and
It
square.
makes
Like,
that
yeah.
moment like bittersweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And I had a great battle with him, and he kicked my ass. He won. And I had a very I was like I put up a
Like
a good run
Orlando,
against him.
when I won, I felt a little bit of that, to be honest, because I didn't have to fight. Like everybody kind of just made mistakes, and
Yeah.
I just won. I felt like I
Dude,
didn't. I
it's-
felt like I
it's-
didn't
it's
try
wi-
very hard.
There's always those events,
And
dude,
I was like, I
where
won.
you kind of just
Honestly,
like
I felt
scoot
great.
by.
I felt
I feel like
wonderful.
everybody has one of those at least in their career.
Yeah, I
where
was
it's just
just
like
like-
you kind of just scoot by.
I
like
just skated
everything
on
just,
through. I was like,
oh
everybody-
fuck, I'm in the finals.
Yeah,
like,
this guy misshifted
fuck.
in front of me. He Oh my
Oh,
god!
no
There
way.
There goes the mic.
Whoops.
All right. I knew this technical difficulty was coming in at some point. That was rad. Somehow my drink made it through all of this.
Do you want me to use it? Yeah, I keep fucking moving it. I want to like lean back.
Now that's a good little party time.
All right.
Coming back.
Let's get this jumping.
Are we gonna watch some battles? Okay. We're back.
We're back.
Okay.
We're back from that commercial break.
Yeah.
We're
All
officially
right.
back.
People
Clean-
peed. Things happen.
What were we talking
Cleaned it
about?
up.
Beer was lost.
Reset things.
I'm not
said some
sure.
stuff.
But let's move on to some videos.
Yep. Let's
Yep.
see what we got. We have some battles to review with our Chief Steward. Battles that we have reviewed before.
Yep. We were going to watch people that do complain a lot.
Eventually, we're going to have Brandon on here. We're going to have to review this battle again.
Again.
But
Amanda Sorensen.
we're going to take a look at the Brandon Sorensen versus Hurst battle. This one, I don't remember what the call was or what the thing was. I think it was.
I remember there's contact.
I think it was a questionable one more time, and then he beat him on the one more time. I think that's what it was. We're gonna have to kind of.
Can the audience hear
Watch
J-Rod talking?
Yeah, and I can turn him up actually.
Okay, because I hear J-Rod talking.
Yeah.
Because I know when we reviewed this with Cash, we couldn't hear what they said.
It is one of the loudest.
And I was really curious what the judges said.
It certainly is. We'll see how it goes.
Or at least
over,
the one
2
judge
games,
said.
right?
I can take him up and down.
I
in-
really
in two
wish if we
different
were going to hear a
areas.
judge, if we could hear all
Another
three.
Right now.
Yeah.
Brandon Sorensen
But the other
will
two
lead
don't
on.
like to
Hurst
talk.
giving chase, the Cash raising AZ Rags.
Like, Montaigne has to do all the work.
Coming down into that first
Can
inside
we make the
clip.
other two
Jonathan
talk?
Hurst
Oh, dang.
got a little too aggressive.
That was a
taking
bonker.
inside line. He had to back off. Now that's not going to set him up. Now into that second outside
But
zone.
did Brandon
Sorensen, look at
initiate
that.
too early
Just
there? Did he
riding
check
right
up
the edge
before the
of
clip?
track.
That's my question. So it's kind of easy to do.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
the hard thing about Atlanta is the initiation and like when the lead driver gets on throttle,
Very critical.
like as far as being a chase driver.
Yeah.
Let's
Wanna see the
take
drone.
a look. Let's take a look at this initiation here again, Ryan.
I think
Was
you
it
have to
Jonathan that set
anticipate a
himself up
huge
for
decel
failure?
here.
Yeah, it looks like
That's
he
just
wasn't
normal.
as wide.
He was super inside.
So
right?
yeah, Hurst
Wide,
is
and then
on a
got
very
really
inside
close.
line. It looks
You see
like
right there, really close. I don't know
Sorensen
if
is
there
back
was
on
a
throttle
but
when he should
he
be.
really
Cash
got
helped
inside
Sorensen
tight
out.
and
He
had
was
to
too
lift
inside.
off to avoid making
He would have
serious
been even
contact.
worse.
And because he got off throttle there, Brandon
My fucking.
Sorensen got on throttle contact.
There we
Really,
go.
really
Now I can
close.
watch.
Up for
I
failure.
put
Yeah, it
that
looks like he
on
wasn't as-
Sorensen, personally.
Wide and then got really.
Because look where he's throttling towards.
Yeah. Oh, he's 2 tires over. He's wiping that clip out with his right headlight.
There's
So-
literally no room for him to go.
For me, I at least up until this point, I would almost say shared fault because Hurst is very inside, but Sorensen is also inside on this clip. But that's almost like 2 independent mistakes, I guess, in my eyes.
And
As far as right here.
Yeah, and as
up
a
to this
chase
point.
driver, like you also have that choice to like either follow him into whatever he's doing or kind of take the correct line. Because a lot of times I'll see drivers, at least in the sim, because I got a lot more experience there. I'll see drivers do something where like, oh, they're making a mistake, they're going into a wrong area, and I'll still make it a point to go to the right area and fill it and make it work essentially. Where like I feel like if Cash kind of initiated more further out where he was supposed to, he would have just either fallen behind him right here probably.
Yeah, and that's always the hard part as a trace driver, especially
front
if
bumper to rear
the
bumper behind
lead
him.
driver isn't where they're supposed to be. You have like very little time to decide. Like, okay, do I stay in it, follow him, potentially make potentially have a contact or a collision even sometimes, depending on the situation, or do I check up, give him some room, but a lot of the times that's going to end up in a gap being established, and especially right here at initiation. So that's
Yeah.
basically like
You're right.
I'm leaving it in the judge's hands
yeah.
to whether like they're going to see that or not. You know, so what I've kind of learned over the years is like it's a really shitty mindset, but I've kind of just learned like stay in it and fucking hit them.
Yeah.
Because that's the only sure way.
So that looks like what Cash did right here in this instance. And if you review back to my video with Matt Field, where they favored Matt Field, I admittedly made this same mistake.
Yeah.
I handbraked too early. It was the night was getting, later, and it was getting grippier and grippier. And I just did the same thing, and it was like way too early. But Matt was like following me on the inside. So whereas I just barely made it past the clip, Matt had to put like 2 tires off, and it totally threw him off for the whole run up as well. So Matt had to play catch up. And if you go back to the drivers' meeting, this is always the thing. The fans watch it, and they just see what they see. They don't know that in the drivers' meeting, the precursors of everything that we have to do.
Yep. What's discussed? What's special for this event? This track? What
And
was
anyone
determined
putting 2
in the
tires
spot,
off, how you gonna follow that? Like, to me, if I just looked at this one photo, I would say this is an unchaseable lead. This dude's putting literally there's 2 tires on the rumble strips, and he's white. Can you go like 1 frame forward?
What I'll do is I'll go 5 frame back, so then I will
Yeah.
slow it down.
Yeah, you can slow it down. So
But that's just looking at a picture, right? There's a whole other run that you
yeah,
gotta
like,
evaluate.
you have to look at
dissect.
everything. But so right here, actually, can I? Yeah, here, let me.
there you go. Do your control.
So
Yeah.
right about here. So look, Sorensen's outside rear,
He's
He's
proper
basically on the
spot.
line.
He's good.
and Hurst's rear tire is
He's
probably
off,
estimated that's
yeah.
about at least
Yeah.
a good 8 to 10 feet
Yeah.
from where he is. So he's definitely way inside, not necessarily mimicking a lead driver line.
Yeah.
And the front tires. So Sorensen's inside front tire, both of Hurst's front tires are inside of that. If you're looking at a center line, I guess you could say. So if you keep going, gets even worse. Hurst is in a really bad position, but
bad.
so is Sorensen. So once we get to here,
So, but
Hurst is already covering too much ground. They're on they're on 2 different arcs.
Past the point of no return,
Way-
right?
he
way-
really
yeah,
is because
yeah,
he's
yeah,
about to
way
hit
too
him
different
Oh, yeah.
before he even does what he did. And that's why
Exactly.
I say Hurst actually helped him by pushing him off a little bit more. Because if Hurst didn't hit him,
He would have been even more
even
inside.
more
yeah.
inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're right.
So that's why where a photo does not help
I make
you.
it a point to do that to people in Assetto too when they're not filling outside zones. I just sort of bump
Yeah,
them into it.
yeah, you do
Just
it to
keep
me all the
pushing
time.
them.
Thanks, buddy.
But so basically, up until this point, I'd say everything that happened right here
Yeah.
for me would be 2 independent mistakes.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you had to, give fault,
Yeah, you're
if
right.
if it came down to this situation,
Yeah.
for me, it would be one more time because they both made
Now,
mistakes,
when you
I
look
guess.
at it in
I
real
get that.
time, though, did Hurst hit him only because he was anticipating a full run through there and Sorensen slowed down too much?
Yeah.
Right? Had Sorensen had a normal lead run and wasn't going to fall, like, because not admittedly, I don't know how you say it, Sorensen was going to fall even shorter, right? So if Sorensen ran the proper line, do you think Hurst would have hit him?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? And it would have been good. So it's
But
different when you watch
he
the
was
slow
also,
mo.
but Hurst was also on the inside like
no,
crazy.
he
but
was. But if you look at every single run,
did that lead to the
probably
hit? Is the
80% of the runs,
Yeah,
every
it's
chase
the same.
driver is on
So
the inside.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
From what I see, I would say if Sorensen ran a normal line, it would have almost been worse. Because if you go back, Hurst is way inside.
Yep.
But then Sorensen, he's basically going to overshoot. So he dumps on a bunch of angle right here in order to make it. But then it's way too much. And now he basically just turned his arc into a straight line to the inside clip.
I say we watch the very next battle.
So
and
if
see
he
what that
arced
guy
it
does.
normally, like Sorensen would have been arcing, and Hurst, anyway, Hurst was just in a bad spot.
I bet
so
every chase
horizontal
driver is in
angle.
that same spot, though.
There's so many ways you could
80%,
argue with
I
this.
bet 80% of the drivers
There's so
in that
many
same
ways
spot.
you could argue.
I mean,
this.
like, well,
It's
so
such a
like,
trip.
okay, so from
All right, so this
basically,
is only a very small part
know,
of the
like
battle, though. Let's look at the
yeah,
rest of the battle.
we could say, like if this then that, but the thing is a lot of people don't realize is like this is what you have, this is what was given to
Yep,
the judges,
yep,
so
yep.
you have to go off of this.
It's a what if game. You don't know
It's
what
just
would
like-
happen.
He didn't really affect his line that much right there from the drone view. You see that?
That's going so slow that watch it in real time. I think it really changes it.
But I mean, the angle of Sorensen's car really didn't change. I feel like Sorensen was on that
Like,
inside
you just have to
line.
look at the trajectory of both cars.
Oh, yeah.
Like Hurst is
Hurst is
coming in
missiling
hot,
him,
and he's
yeah.
he's trying to get the car settled to
Yeah.
get that to start to meet Sorensen's line.
Yeah,
Andy, can we watch it in real time?
yeah.
because that's definitely a different perspective. So watch that same exact drone view in real time. The rest of the run's kind of just is what it is. Let's see. Boop. You see the hit. Yeah, probably didn't change it much, right?
Like Sorensen's from this drone view, Sorensen's slightly inside for sure. Not ideal, but Hurst's line is completely different than the lead driver.
I'd almost
And-
say
and
Hurst
his
made
job.
I don't say Hurst made the bigger mistake there.
Like Hurst's job is to adapt and mimic.
Like it looked a lot worse from the other camera views, but like Sorensen's entry doesn't look like that bad from this drone view here.
So I will agree that Soren's Cash should have adapted to the slowdown, the decel. But that's the argument that we constantly have in FD. If the lead driver makes a mistake, like Chelsea pulling a handbrake in front of Vaughn, then you blamed it on the lead driver. In this scenario, I blame it on the chase driver. But I feel like FD rules should have blamed it on the lead driver, because the lead driver shouldn't make a mistake, essentially. It's kind of how the rules are laid out to us, right?
Yeah.
In the way that they say, like, the lead driver can slow down here, but nowhere else. That's why we have decel zones.
Yeah.
So it seems like you put it in the wrong spot. Therefore, it should automatically go to the chase.
But
I blame it on the chase, though.
But
the
in
driver.
this situation, though, if both cars are in the wrong spot,
Yeah, they're both in the wrong spot.
it's just, like it's if Hurst was on the same line as Sorensen from the get go, and then Sorensen just automatically changed his trajectory, but Hurst was showing control and
What the
Oh,
hell
God.
is this? Come
Oh,
on
God.
now.
I still don't have the ad blockers.
Oh my god! All right, anyways, we're nitpicking at a problem that doesn't even matter, because the outcome of the next part
here you go.
is what really changes the battle. All right, can we turn up what Lantane's saying so we can hear that?
Yep.
Head of Brandon Sorensen that's about to happen right here. You can see that Hurst is actually ahead of Brandon Sorensen right there. They make contact. He kind of rubs his front right wheel all the way down the side of Brandon Sorensen's car. Maybe we can get that at
It doesn't
full
look
speed
so
to
bad
see
from
if
the
anybody
above angle as far as like Sorensen's
if
line.
somebody,
Like
you know,
he
from
beelined it.
speeding
He
up,
definitely
the
ate the
car was
clip,
slowing down
and
too much,
you
but
know.
it is a decel area, so my first
And the
instinct
hit doesn't
tells
look
me
as
that
bad
it
from
was
above either,
Hurst's
you know?
fault, but it is his car. He kind of rubbed.
Like
this
the
is
hit
actually
looked like
ahead
so much
of
more substantial
Brandon
from the other
Sorensen right
camera
there.
angles.
They make contact. He kind of rubs his front right wheel all the way down the side of Brandon
trip.
Sorensen's car.
All right,
Maybe
let's
we
move
can
on
get
to the
that
next
at
battle.
full
Move on?
speed to see
Move on. Not next battle, next run.
Huh? Oh,
The next run.
if anybody was.
their OMT or whatever.
somebody-
No,
the chase
no,
car
no,
was speeding
because
up,
the
the
next
lead car
the
was
next
slowing
one
down
is
too
the
much,
one
but
that's
it is a
confusing.
decel
I
area
think
for
there was contact in the keyhole, right?
Yeah, when Sorensen hits.
That inside, not
That's why we're nitpicking at the wrong part right now.
we are again more
is going to take us a lot of to take.
Oh, he took his time out.
But
Coming up
that
the hill,
may
it's
come into play.
Yeah, the last time we talked about this, we didn't have the volume up, so we couldn't hear
I
what the judges
I
said.
don't remember, but because you're saying like he should have won the first battle and it not going one more time, but
Oh, I
that
don't
first
remember the
run
first
may
battle. I
have.
don't even remember the first battle.
Well, like if that was the first run of the first battle, or was that the one more time?
I have no idea.
clean start
I
here.
think
The
that was
start
the
chicane.
first battle.
Where
Skip ads, Andy. Look at that. Block ads now.
No,
Wow.
no,
Wow.
no. I like my ads.
Somebody please become a Patreon.
I enjoy my ads.
And
They
make
show
Andy
me products
get
that
rid
I
of
might
ads.
want.
Like
All right,
your
All right, we're here. God, you guys can shut up
God
already.
Damn, we've been watching this run all year long.
Right? Yeah.
got
Every
Sorensen on
episode
here.
of What the Drift has had this
Nice
run.
and tidy. You can see Jonathan Hurst into that second outside zone. Brandon Sorensen right there. Oh, boy. We have contact again. What's cracking here?
The
Man.
drone is in the air, so we will get some
Yep.
good footage from it, hopefully.
That is great.
So that's why the first battle really doesn't even matter.
Let's see
Nitpicking
what
it.
happened
well,
there.
First half of the battle.
could
We're only
depending
at
on
32. We're already
what
seeing,
happened here.
Quite a bit of contact here.
And we like focused a lot on the
All right,
crash
we have
on the
some
last
drone
one, but we really
views
didn't
for you
focus on
here.
what happened
They
after
did a great
that.
job on initiation. Both drivers, a little tap of inside clip one by Jonathan
Damn you with
Catchers.
your
As
ads.
they come up the hill, you can see some decent proximity. maybe
I
a
love
little
it
bit
now
tighter
that
line.
that's-
I've never even got a thing that said turn off all ads. It's funny that you're
Or one
getting
for
that.
prostate exam stuff, like
Yeah.
I saw earlier.
That was amazing.
Okay, I think I do remember this.
Yeah.
So
From the chase driver
Hurst is doing a lot of clutch work to get the car to come in.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. It's not like it wasn't like a smooth flow. So if you look, clutch in, clutch in, clutch in.
Yeah, like 3 of them right there. Yeah.
So that,
you could see that in the chase position.
to me,
The Sorensen was putting on a lot of pressure.
I mean,
He was very
it's
close,
hard. It's hard to say
trying
because
stay with Hurst
he is the
because
lead driver,
you said
but
earlier,
that
if
is
you're not
a
close
section
here,
where
you're
he
gonna-
should be
you're gonna get
flowing
left
through.
behind
Even if
going
you're
down
not
the hill. So
necessarily accelerating through there, you're kind of bringing the car in.
maybe it was wheel to
The
fender,
abrupt
but still.
I feel like Sorensen
acceleration,
avoided that,
like-
though.
So, can I make a quick
break.
point real quick?
Yeah.
Right there,
If
it wasn't quite wheel to wheel,
Cash
it was wheel
should
to
have
fender,
avoided
but still
Sorensen
not
on
ideal,
interclip 1 on the last turn,
Hurst to spin
on a
could have,
decel
locked
coming
up
from
that
90
front
miles an
wheel,
hour
so
down
we'd
to
have to come
30
up
miles
with
an hour,
a definition.
I
don't
think
know if we need fault necessarily
this
here
section was
because
more
it's
of
the
a
second
flow
run,
through
but,
section.
we'll have to
Like,
figure out
what are we doing?
independently
45, and we
judge
maybe slow down
who we
to
want to fault for
30.
that.
It's a pro-am course
I
at that
think
point.
I think that Sorensen should have definitely avoided hitting Cash.
theoretically, it could just be
If we're gonna weigh so heavy on Cash for hitting
Yeah.
Sorensen, we should weigh very heavy on Sorensen hitting Cash. But let's hear what Ryan has to say about it, because I still have not heard
Cash
this.
also wasn't like eating an inside clip while that was going on. He was doing
Exactly.
some funny clutch
He's
work,
online.
but that should be easy to deal with left foot brake
Exactly,
and
exactly.
handbrake.
He
You
wasn't
know, you
gonna hit
should
the
be able
clip.
to. He should have. Sorensen should have been able to check up on his speed right there and just sit right on his door.
So this is outside of our decel area, our momentum zone. So the lead driver shouldn't be decelling here, but the chase driver also shouldn't be.
This is a hell of a battle when you
inside
actually
of the
break
lead
it
car.
down. Like
That's
this is.
Yeah.
This is a
It's either
fucking.
So,
momentum zone
can you
and
pause
the
it?
beginning of
This
outside
one
zone
takes the
two.
rule book.
Lontaine says it's outside of our decel zone.
Yeah.
But we know damn well as drivers, that entire area, it's not a decel zone, but it's a fucking slow area.
Yeah, and you're
like-
checking out.
You're coming out
modulating.
wide and you're bringing it into an
Yeah,
in-clip.
you're
And that's one
modulating
of the
grip.
reasons why in-clips will always cause
Yeah.
Issues.
Because
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
you're a driver, we're all drivers. You know, if you get to interclip 2, even trying to get to interclip 2, if you go full throttle, you're blowing your tires out from underneath
Yeah.
of you.
You're going
You're
wide.
spinning out or going wide.
You got to check up before the transition. You're in the
so
wrong line. Yeah.
You need to
You're-
modulate, whether it's clutch kicking, left foot braking, downshifting. You're doing a lot of work.
I just
between
leave
outer
it in
zone
fourth
1.
and don't downshift, and then
I do
power
the same
disappears.
thing, but still.
So like I agree with that,
It's a
but
lot of work
now
to
that I
get through
see
there.
this battle, I specifically remember because Hurst's car is fucking loud.
poppy.
Oh,
he's-
yeah.
bah, 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 yeah.
Sure.
Like I just remember even before that, and I think I called it out in practice, like him doing a lot of like heavy clutch work. Where it's like it's not slipping the clutch. He was literally like clutch
Whap
in.
out, whap
So it's
out.
like
Yeah.
digging, nothing. Digging, nothing. So
Yeah.
there's like multiple changes in his momentum. Maybe not necessarily decel or whatever, but there's definitely a kind of roller coaster of accelerating and then
But
pause,
what if
accelerating
his,
and
what
pause.
if his acceleration speed was the same? It just was the extreme of full throttle to nothing, full throttle to nothing, versus someone else who, like Vaughn, who is very smooth and clutches in, so it sounds loud, right? So you're just smooth through there. But data-wise, you're the same pace through the entire thing. To
Yeah, I
me,
mean-
Sorensen fucking plowed into him, and it should just be the
I mean,
first run's a
data-wise-
wash, second run's kind of, well, the second run, he hit him and he spun out, right? The first run's like, Cash hit him, Cash is at fault, so that run is like more Cash fault, but they kept going.
First run, you could
But, like,
possibly
it's-
attribute the hit to Sorensen being on the inside, though.
Yep,
You could
yep.
possibly attribute it to that. On the second run, you really can't attribute it to anything other than the clutch work. But in my opinion, I feel like Brandon should have been able to deal with that.
Exactly.
He should have been able to left foot brake or e-brake or something. He was in the pocket. He wasn't
It's-
crazy
it's
inside.
one
he wasn't
thing, though.
coming in too hot, like where he couldn't possibly slow the car down. Like the situation in the first lap. Like I think Cash couldn't
it's one
slow the
thing
car
if
down.
like if Brandon was on the inside too, but Brandon was in the right spot.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So it's how do you say, like, okay, a driver could or could not adapt to that. That's subjective or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at things for like, okay, what exactly happened? Like looking at it from both sides, breaking it down, being open-minded, whatever, like taking mistake for mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
the first run, both cars were in the wrong spot.
Yep. Yeah.
So
yeah, they were.
They both made equal mistakes. So
Yeah.
I couldn't put any
Kinda
fault
just-
on, oh, it's his fault, the lead driver, or it's the chase driver's
You just
fault.
kind of like that one to wash.
They're both, that's kind of a wash for me. It would be like shared fault or whatever. But this one,
It comes to a spin, so you got way more
Brandon is in the right spot, following the line. Hurst is changing his momentum outside of a momentum zone.
How do you know he's changing his momentum outside of
You
visual
could
sound?
Well, you could
Yeah, I
visually
mean, you can
Visual
kinda
and
see
sound.
it.
I don't
Yeah.
think you
you
see
can visually
him.
see it. You can see like the car, like
Kind of. I mean,
it's
you can
dumb.
see
It's
it.
not a smooth.
Yeah.
I would almost take five mile an hour slower,
We're gonna get
but
one more
smooth
look here.
over
Our
this.
one
Like
last
you see
look,
like
so
clutch
gotta
work,
get
like
So clutch in, clutch in, and then like
yeah.
that's when it spins. So you
I-
could
I
see the
entirely
closing of
disagree.
that gap.
There's like almost angle adjustments
yeah.
while he's doing
Exactly.
it too. Yeah.
I entirely disagree. Entirely. I think that a
Well,
chase
guess what?
driver
There's three
should be able-
judges, and we win. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
no,
vote.
could be.
Well, so let's look at it that way. So if Hurst is at fault here, and then it's shared, that mistake is pretty much, or the first one is pretty much over because the gap that was pulled or whatever.
I would
So-
say shared fault on this one too, because I
Is
I
this the one more
I do
time?
think Brandon should have been able
This
to
is one
avoid
battle.
him.
That one and this one.
But I also think
That's one
that he
complete battle.
shouldn't have been clutching in right
who's at
there.
fault there,
Yeah,
so
no, yeah. There's still another
we're gonna
battle
get
after
one more
this.
look
Yeah,
here.
I think.
No, I think this was the finish.
So they're
though.
settled.
You.
Yeah, so you can even see after the first clutch in, Brandon does check up. Mm-hmm. Then when Hurst gets back on, Brandon gets back on, and then Hurst checks up again, and that's when the final contact is made or whatever.
Oh, slow mo jumping.
So now they're both settled. They're flowing.
Clutch
Check
stump.
up here.
Clutch
Brandon
stump.
checks up. Then he gets back on.
Is
And
the
then
clutch dump
another
based
one.
off of smoke or based off of car movement?
I'm looking at car movement.
Yeah, I'm looking at the car
um,
kind of shaking. Yeah.
as well as the gap.
Smoke line was decent.
I don't really go off of smoke line. I would go off of like throttle sound and car movement and
Womp
trajectory
right
of the car.
There. Dump clutch.
Dump more
Womp.
angle.
That could be the hit on that last
And
one.
and Hurst is going wide too. Like if you look at his arc from outer, what is that, 2?
Yeah, he's gonna miss it.
He's gonna miss it. So he clutches in, checks up, and tries to
Well,
the some angle to make the
He's
inner
probably gonna miss it. He's rotating an angle. He would have accelerated forward, but that's
So he
maybe.
dumps more
That's a
angle
maybe.
to try and make it in.
Yeah.
So either way, he's doing corrections where Brandon, at least to me, looks like he's trying to adapt and he's following and doing, and he's in the right spot. He's not in a obviously bad spot. Mm-hmm. So there's more evidence
I'm just gonna
saying
say
Hurst was in the wrong than
Yeah.
than Brandon.
I would just say shared fault on both, to be honest.
So when you jump to Matt Field's battle,
with who?
very similar scenario,
With who?
let's
They blamed
let's,
on the chase
let's
driver.
pull that one up. Is
Uh,
that
here?
but definitely you've got
That's here?
Yeah, same exact
And that's
thing.
top 16 or top 32?
Uh,
I gotta find that one. I don't think we have that
it's
one
top
ready.
32.
Okay.
I think it's maybe the very first battle actually.
It's top 32.
Yeah,
You said?
yeah. It might be the very right there. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
So I know that you're going to argue that Matt Field's smoother, doing a better job. Very hard to. I think in knowing both the runs, I think both chase drivers just got too aggressive and both went too hard in the keyhole.
There you go. Eve Meyer feeling relaxed and feeling the pressure. Is Matt Field? You can see him some shimming there in the back in that second outside zone too. So it looks like
see Eve's on a
that goes
inside
into
line
dirt
there.
and dust,
Oh, no.
and nosing on in.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd still argue that Matt was looking pretty good right there until he's hit him. Like he's
Well,
throttling.
he just put a
he's
tire off.
throttling.
So that's definitely decel.
He did put a tire off, and it did look like it added more angle because of that.
You can see him
But
some
also
shimming there in the
Eve's
back in that
way
second
inside,
outside zone, too.
bare
So it looks like
completely
now
misses
Matt
the zone. Let's check Matt's trajectory
You can see him some
from
shimming
outer
there in the
2
back in that
to.
second
There's
outside
probably
zone,
drone
too.
footage
So it
after
looks
this too.
like now Matt goes
So I
in
mean, it does. The tire drop is a minor mistake, I guess, but it doesn't really disrupt his flow through there. And Eves is on the inside line.
I think the only way to prove both of these is to get the data from Kevin, and we're gonna have to do that one day.
Like pull the data or whatever.
Yep. It's so subjective. I feel like both calls.
But look how much more inside Matt is than Cash was.
Yeah, it dumps
Matt's
a
Matt's
lot.
on the right line. As far as, because I mean, he got hit. He also got hit a lot earlier
hit
than
way
Cash
earlier,
did.
yeah.
But
Like he did go a little bit deep. It did add some angle
All right, look,
where
he's
he's a
getting
little
hit right
inside,
there.
but
Maybe consider Matt decelled way earlier because he put a tire off. I mean, come on, you put one tire off, you just lost.
he put a
40%
tire
of-
off for like
40%
a
of grip.
second, dude. It was a second.
you can tell it definitely added
was
angle. So
barely
watch,
a tire.
Tire off.
it slipped. It slipped. So
That's
and he's
okay.
a little bit
But,
inside.
I mean, dude,
but
it was
Eves is
barely a
also
tire.
on the wrong
This
line.
is like, oh, well, Cash put his clutch in for a second.
Like, but watch how quick the tire goes off and on. Like, I don't think the tire drop is that significant. Like, boom, boom, it's back on. You know?
Yeah, and like as
You're
far as
not losing
momentum
that much
goes,
momentum there.
he's flowing through there, which makes it easier for the chase driver to adapt.
I blame it on the chase driver in both cases.
Yeah,
Sticking to it.
no, it's definitely Eve's fault here.
I think
yeah.
a chase driver should be adapting to the lead driver's mistakes. That's why we're a chase driver to chase whatever the fuck this guy's doing.
Lead driver
But-
crashes, I'm crashing.
But given that you are also in the correct spot, not necessarily the 100-point qualifying run, but the correct position to what the lead driver is giving
Knowing
you.
that
You know what I
Cash
mean?
was on a wider line, he should have actually even been going faster than Matt. Because if you're on a wider line, all right, so you know when you're choking up through here, you have to go even slower to hit this target just right. If you run it wide, you can run faster through there.
You,
Right,
you
if
run
you
a little.
run the
You
whole-
run it a little bit wide, and then kind of late apex that, and set yourself up for a better transition out.
So it makes you even slower. So Cash would have been really ruined on the transition and then down the hill. But it makes you slow down even more trying to hit that inner clip.
Yeah, wrong line, tight line, aggressive because he
Yeah.
knows he's going against.
Yeah, but the other thing too, like watch Eve's angle throughout like the whole chase run. He's constantly like shalloting up, almost even going straight at some points.
You
So
know,
right here,
Here was my
almost
example
straight,
the other
and he's
day
just constantly wavering.
for chase drivers hitting the lead driver. It's never okay for you to hit someone on the freeway in the chase. If you ever rear end someone, it's your fault.
Yeah, automatically.
You are supposed to gauge the person in front of you, no matter what they do.
That's
and not hit them.
arguable.
But you're also not driving 3 inches from them at 80 miles
If I
an
try
hour.
and do a 360 drift in front of you on the freeway, and you catch that on your dash cam, and you smash into me, I think they're gonna accept it.
So I mean, like that's
my fault.
one of the things that's defined in the rule book this year.
I would love to
is,
see the data.
Like how proximity, like determines everything, and where you are as a chase driver. If you're in the right spot and you're,
the pocket.
inches, you're in the pocket.
glorious
You're
pocket.
inches away. The smallest mistakes will turn into a huge collision. Versus, if the chase driver is way back here, 4 or 5 cars back.
So did
He
anyone
does a little
protest
mistake,
on this?
it doesn't mean anything. Hurst tried to, but
You
oh
turned
no,
him down?
sorry, this is different. About I don't.
Not
How did
not
this decision go?
not Gucci or not.
I think
Matt.
because Steve was spotting for Eves. I think he did come up and we talked about it, if I remember correctly. But I don't.
How about Cash and Brandon?
So the thing with Cash is they came up like at the end of what was that top 32?
Okay, way too late.
Yeah, like way too late.
Well, let's watch you crash.
Oh, there you
Well,
go.
I didn't crash. I just fucking blew up my transmission.
Oh, okay. Well,
Dude,
let's watch
I want
Dimitri
this
crash and you
drone
blow up your
clip,
transmission.
dude. This drone
That's
footage.
Dimitri in that other car.
Yeah,
Yeah, the-
that's before you got the
That's his
E46.
old
Oh.
Back when,
Z4.
see, Dimitri made bad decisions about cars too,
So
just
he
like
just
me.
followed Essa's bad decisions.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Essa let him do that?
Yeah. Why not?
That's funny.
Damn.
I broke a knuckle right before qualifying, coming off the bank.
Nice.
Where do you break it?
Oh, it's on the second run.
What is Brewski doing now? He sold his NASCAR spec car.
What, the 46?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe he's building another one. I don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he always buys cars. I haven't heard of him building anything. Maybe he's finally building something.
I know, but I don't know if I'm supposed to say. I don't know if he's trying to keep it secret.
He probably is.
Yeah.
Unless it's public. I don't know. Let me check his Instagram. Huh?
This drone clip right here, dude.
Okay. Whatever. We're gonna finish up here in a second.
Like on the last outer, it's just dope. Like both of us dumping smoke, and it's like right on top of it.
I mean, you can pull it off YouTube, but it's gonna look just like that. Which
No,
is
I want like the old original
See,
high
but
res.
with that glitchiness, with the right song, it might look kind of tight. Might look kind of tight. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so here's where the shit show begins.
The shit show. Look at those two glorious Achilles cars.
What is that thing called? A Z4?
Yeah.
That is ugly.
Yeah, they are.
That is
No, that's a Toyota Supra, dude.
Yeah, basically. That's the funny part.
Boom.
Like the whole
Transmission done. Brewski, bam, in the wall.
Oh, wow.
My God.
Double zeros, huh?
Oh, he took
Yeah.
his wheel off.
Wow.
Damn, that thing got tanked.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, when Brewski crashes, he
That's
he gets
impressive.
it.
Let me do it good.
Yeah, seriously. He did it real good right there.
All right, so who won this?
They ended up giving
Chris
it to me. I swapped the dude, I had like Rome's crew, S's crew, Jerry Yang's crew on the car. We swapped it for the top 8
So
battle.
the fire guy that looks just
But
like Dimitri.
didn't make
that
it to
walks
the
How
line.
did you get the
after
win?
this.
Because he didn't show up to the next battle?
Well,
Or
this
was
is
it based off
this
of
is
the
the
run
second
run?
run.
Can we
So
watch the first
basically,
round?
0-0 on this run, and then they gave me the lead. I
Andy,
think.
can you go back to the first half of this run? I've always thought it interesting of how can you judge a battle based
off one
off
lead
of
and one
one
chase?
lead and one chase?
I said the same thing.
It seems impossible.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Yeah.
So, all right, so now we have to base this entire thing off of a lead and a chase, but you don't have equal opportunity.
If you're going off of the lead versus lead and chase versus chase, then yeah.
Doesn't make
Unless
you
there's
have-
painfully obvious
Yeah,
mistakes,
one driver
it's
with-
impossible.
yeah.
Now, if you made it to the line and he didn't, and you're going to go drift it in second, same. All right, you're doing a good job. You're doing your job. He's
I think
doing.
you should just let the drivers arm wrestle and just call it a day.
It's just weird. I mean, honestly, I could see that you're doing a better job than he is doing a better job, right?
But it's like compared to what?
Compared, it's
Yeah.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
I've said the same thing. I brought it up multiple times.
Because
this
if you were
season.
chasing, you would have probably done the same mistakes. You'd been the inside, your angle would be bobbling a little bit. You're trying to keep up.
Yeah, how do you compare like a chase to
Half a battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going off of lead versus lead and chase versus chase,
Yeah.
you have one driver with the lead and one driver with the chase.
That's never made any
So,
sense.
One more
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, we always joke around. We're just like, dude, when are we gonna finish this battle?
That's funny, dude. Yeah.
He's like, dude, hurry up, come back so we could rerun that.
Seriously, you gonna come back at all? You thinking about it?
Dude, like, I'm not against it, but it's just like
Figured it all out.
it will, like
So much
everything would have
stress.
to align. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it the way I was doing because I was doing it on bare minimum. Like, dude, the car, like I built the car, like basically is the epitome of like polishing a turd. Like I've had hand-me-down parts from
Yeah.
everybody
Yep.
and just built the best thing I could with what I had.
Yep.
And it wasn't enough. And
Yeah.
I didn't have money for spare stuff and all that. Like I had the spare transmission that we put in was from Chris Marion from KW. Before we went out, he's like, "Oh, I got a spare Jericho. Like, dude, just take it out. Keep it for a spare. If you have
Yeah.
it, you're not gonna need it."
Yeah,
type
yep.
of thing. I was like, "Oh, all right." We're like, "Yeah, cool." Ended up actually needing it, and it's just like, dude, if I didn't have that, like I would have been fucked because we actually had to use that for Atlanta. The rig was going straight to Atlanta
Oh,
afterwards.
no
You
shit.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like
There would have been no way.
I would have
Yeah.
been destroyed financially trying
Yep.
to figure out how to source a box and how to ship it out there and fly out early and all that. Like,
Even
it's
with
just-
like everything taken care of, it still ends up being
Yeah.
a financial fucking headache.
So it's like, dude, like with literally every single person that I know that supported me like way over the top of what I could ever, like even ask for,
yeah,
like
yep.
like super fortunate for the people that
You'll
were,
Gary
that were
a lot of
behind me.
Heinekens, by the way.
Dude, I owe a lot of people a
Heineken's
lot
jam,
of
huh?
shit, dude. Like, my whole program was based off of literally
love and support.
Everybody just going out of their way. I don't even understand why, but it's just like, dude, I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
And this is the only reason I was able to actually compete, you know?
Yeah. It gives you like a little bit of like imposter syndrome, you know, where you're like, am I like really like?
It's like, dude, I don't deserve like,
yeah, like,
I don't
why
deserve
do I
that type of love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
But it was cool to see like how many people were super supportive of that.
Yeah, man.
So
we all got you back. You come back, we all got you
but
back.
I will say though, like, I don't know, I don't like the business side of it, or the marketing side of it. You know what I mean?
So much
Like,
to it.
Yeah.
going like approaching sponsors and all that. Like for me, I don't know. There's almost like I don't want to say fake, but I'm not the type to put on a face just to impress somebody because I want you to give me money.
Yeah.
And so I can run this program. It's
Yep.
like, dude, I don't need to race that bad. You know what I mean? Like,
That's probably why you got so much help over the years.
I'm not gonna play that game. It's
you
like,
weren't being fake, you know?
but that's the thing, is just like, it gets to a point where it's like, in order to get the budget and be able to have a solid program, to have a solid, I mean, you guys know how important a crew is. Solid crew, you know. I was running off, you know, guys that were running pro teams, and then after they're done with their, like, so like Jerry's guys, once they're done and Mike's done, then they would come spot for me or come like help me change tires and stuff like that. But basically, you know, a lot of the times I'm going out for the first practice, I'm spotting for Mike. Like, hey, Mike, are you going to do one more run? It's like 15 minutes before Pro 2 is supposed to be lining up. And then it's like, all right, I'll stick around for this next run. Then I got to go bounce, warm up the car, check tire pressures, you know, get suited up and all of that. So I'm like, it was just this constant, like,
that's a tough one.
state of like rush.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So that was just the hard part.
Yeah.
So I guess to answer your question, if I would come back, only way is if I, for some reason, was able to secure, you know, budget to do things right.
Why is it secure budget though? Why not just pay for it yourself at the rate and fun level that you want to do it at?
So
Makes it more stressful.
it's
when you're spending
well,
your
I mean,
money.
the amount of money.
Before you answer it, hold on. I would argue that probably 90% of racing people, road racing, off-road racing, off-road truck, drifting, pay for it themselves.
I'd say more than that.
99% pay for it themselves.
95 plus.
So there's a very small 5 to 1% people
Yeah.
that do get paid to do what they do. So I do hear this a lot in drifting, where people are like, oh, if someone paid me to do it. And I'm like, well, there are so many people that go to Willow Springs and road race their Ferrari that they paid for, that they're paying for their own tires, and they're just paying for their hobby the same way that they'd go boating.
Well,
you would never say, hey, if someone paid me to go boating and
Yeah.
hang out with fucking hot chicks on my boat and go fishing, then I would do it. Like,
Well,
if it's
like,
what you want to do,
these
it's what you
people
want
look
to do.
at it like, oh, this is well, he just gets paid to go drifting. It's like, no, he gets paid because he did the entire legwork to run an entire program and manage 17 social media profiles and do a YouTube and do this and manage all these brands.
You don't have to do all that though. You can just show up and go drifting.
But that's if you have the
to
means.
build up-
Personally,
to
for
build
me,
up to
I
the
don't have the
point where
means
you're-
to support a race program.
Yeah, to build up to the
Like,
point where you're actually making money doing it, you have to be doing so many extracurricular activities on the side that you're working for your money that you're making.
That's what
it's
a lot
not
of
like you're just getting money to go drifting. You're getting money to make videos. You're getting money.
Well,
to
you're
get
taking at
photos
it at
done.
an influencer level. What if
Yeah.
you just owned a construction company and you just paid for yourself to go drive?
Well, that's fine too.
You don't have to be an influencer.
you have
Drift
to-
boom
We're
doesn't-
not talking. We're talking
Well, if
about
we're
how do you
getting
gain
to
the
the business
sponsorships.
side.
How do you get there? How do you pay for this? How do you get someone else to pay for this? Is basically what I'm talking
Well,
about.
or
Well,
say
that's
you
what
say
you're
your
talking about.
business.
I
Like,
heard you ask him, would you come and back and do it? And I just heard you say, if someone paid for it, I would do it.
not
And so
necessarily
all I
that.
heard was,
It's
I
more
wouldn't
of
do
a-
it on my own dollar. I would only do it if someone paid
Well,
me.
so
So you don't like drifting
no,
enough
that's
to do it
that's not
yourself.
exactly what I said.
Is what I heard.
Well, that's I get why you think that. So let me explain on that a little bit.
Yeah, like if you had a job where you're making $2 million a year,
It's
you'd
not
probably
it's
be
not that
drifting.
like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, if someone gives me the money, you know, I'll do it. It's more of, and this goes with what I was saying, like I don't want to put on that face and you know ask for a handout, because it's like I'm not the type of person to ask somebody to, how do you say that, you know, fund my hobby,
Yeah.
because I don't want to put in the work
Yeah,
type of
yeah.
shit. It's more of, I'm not too well with that business side of it in order to find something, you know, like that I can give of value to partner up with someone and
No, I feel you.
Hey, let me trade my services, you know,
Yeah.
for your services.
I
type
didn't
of
feel
thing.
like I had that until this year, to be
It's
honest.
really it's hard to find that without doing all that influencer stuff, social media. all that,
I still
that type
come
of
back
thing.
to what I just said a
the
minute
value,
ago, though.
I guess.
I feel like a lot of drifters are going down this path of where they
Mm-hmm.
think that someone should pay for them to drift.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true, nor is that okay.
100%. I agree
I
with
think most drifters should realize they are just doing this as a hobby for fun,
Mm-hmm.
and they should get a job, a good job, and be able to pay for it themselves.
Yeah.
Because if you go up to Willow Springs on any racetrack on any given weekend, there's some rich dude who owns a Ferrari, and no one's paying him for that shit. He
lot
doesn't
more
even
than just
have
one.
a YouTube.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an Instagram.
Yeah.
He just has companies and just works hard. I mean, honestly, maybe he doesn't even own a fucking house. Maybe he just owns that Ferrari. But that's just what he wants to do and his passion.
Yeah. But that's why I'm not doing FD, is because I personally, at least right now, can't fund an FD program. So that's why I kind of started taking a step back, where it's like I don't need to be competing at, you know, on an FD level and spending way more money than I should to still have fun and drive for fun at these fun events, or just going out to Willow and driving with the homies, or you know, Grange or Apple Valley Speedway.
I believe FD's
It's-
path in the next 10 years will be sponsored drivers will get weeded out, and it will be just a bunch of rich people drifting
I see that.
for less dollars than what Forsberg and
It's
Vaughn are
already
getting now.
like
I mean, like, look how many companies have pulled out.
There's more toter
Yeah.
homes in the pro spec pits than there are in the pro pits.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that
And
tells
that's the
you that
direction it's
there's
going in.
more money coming in that is
More
not
family money
sponsorship
coming in.
money than
Yep.
there is sponsor money.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
the path that it's going
Or they're
down.
just stupider and they're buying toters because I don't know. Because, like, I know Forsberg and, like, JTP, they all got out of their toters because it was kind of just too big of an expense. I think gas and then the size of it, like,
Maintenance and
Yep,
all that.
yep.
yeah, like a 30-foot trailer for a single, like, unless you're running a 2-car team, like, a toter really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, you know?
Yeah.
As far as splitting costs and stuff. And even then, if you're running a 2-car team, a semi-truck makes more sense than a toter because you get better
Dude,
gas
you know what
mileage
makes
and-
sense? Is a fucking open trailer and a hard body pulling up to Long Beach. Dude. That shit fucking blew my mind when you pulled up with that thing. Like, that was dope.
I was just
He's got
making
Things
it
all
happen.
fucking
aluminum
slammed.
card on the front of it or
I was
whatever, yeah.
just making it happen.
Dude, I fuck
Well.
with it. And then you pull up to the banquet at the end, and you're like, y'all wasting too much money, dude. That shit was fucking dope.
I don't know. That's just me
Make it happen.
making it happen.
That's
it
the
happen,
thing.
make
So
it
it's like, I guess, you know, to answer your point, it's just, I agree with you, and that's kind of why I'm not competing, because I'm not going to play the
But you're gonna
kiss-ass
keep
for money
driving though,
game.
right? Not
for sure.
competing, but you
100%,
keep driving.
100%, yeah. But it's more of just kind of getting back to the basics and the fun side of it, because doing FD and all that stress and fucking the business side of things and like all that kind of took the fun out of it. It turned it into work
Yep.
and not why I started drifting.
Yeah.
And like I said, originally I saw that and I knew about it, and that's why I never really kind of had any desire to do FD. It's just with that opportunity that presented itself with Achilles. I just
You won
know,
the lotto with that shit.
had- yeah,
man.
I
You can't
mean-
pass that up.
Right?
so
yeah,
just,
dude.
just had to do that.
Yeah,
So,
dude. Yeah.
I mean, I have no hard feelings about it. You know, didn't really put down any results.
What's
Car was
gotten
always
you
breaking.
into a good
but-
spot though? All of that brought you into where you're at now.
Yeah,
which is
100%.
being a
And
part of
every-
FD. That's a cool job to have.
Every
Yeah.
experience in life, like that's the thing, is like a lot of people will kind of get focused on the bad shit or like whatever happened, the negative things that happen, and then they forget to kind of take a step back and look at the bigger picture of like what you took a lot away from that, you know, like you have the potential to learn from this, but then also, like you're saying, the people you meet along the way, the networking that you build up over these years, the people that you meet that pull you into other opportunities that kind of branch you out later on in life. So it's you know,
that and all
I have no
the dumb bullshit fun you have after events, just shooting the shit and being dumb. Like, I wouldn't give that up for the fucking world, dude.
That was the biggest thing. Like, changing tires, I fucking hated my life on, like, at the event.
Yeah.
The only thing I looked forward to going to the events when I was working to Achilles was like, okay, once the race is over, then like just chill with all the homies, drink some beers.
I was buying you those beers too back then too. I was bringing you guys. I was trying to bring you.
Oh
yeah.
Beers,
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Support your tire guys.
Dude, yeah,
man.
those
That's
guys put in work. Don't forget your tire.
They usually
guys,
don't even get to watch the runs. They're
Yep.
stuck somewhere.
I think on average at an event, I'd maybe see 4 runs the whole event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Buy your guys whatever their favorite whiskey is, scotch, whatever, beer.
Should bring
Hook
them water
those
and
guys
some
up.
fucking food, man.
Yeah.
Those guys are putting in work.
Some
Put in
tacos.
Some serious freaking work.
Okay, we got to wrap it up because we're at 3.5 hours now,
Good job, Andy.
and I got to edit all of this.
Yep.
Is there any
all of it.
These podcasts
any
keep
other
getting longer and
questions?
longer.
Any other things you guys wanted to get into?
What color underwear are you wearing?
Probably blue.
Blue?
Everything's blue.
Lucky blue underwear.
Damn, just goes
Okay.
blue.
Yeah.
I got pairs of black and gray. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you
I
got?
don't even know what I have right now.
Gray.
Well, I got my long underwear on. Yeah.
Long-
So gray.
It's
yeah.
cold outside.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
All right, good times, bud. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
High
dude,
five
for having
again.
me.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you,
right,
buddy.
knock this thing over.
Appreciate you. Our first official real human
man.
guest.
Yep.
He's a real
Yeah.
human. I swear. I mean, he might be. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's human. But
Maybe.
yeah.
Not
So
too
that's
sure.
it. Episode 7.
7.
So thank you guys.
Hopefully you learned some stuff. There's a lot that this guy went through, and it's another path that you can take to become an FD driver, and then
Yeah.
maybe work for FD.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always open to talk to people, dude. Like, I get hit up on
What's your
Instagram by
Instagram?
random. Sean Adriano, at Sean Adriano.
I'll put it up
Yeah.
right there
But
somewhere.
Yeah. Any shout outs for people again? We know we know you love Gary.
there's
Gary,
we
Kenji.
would be here for another hour if I
Yeah.
shouted out everybody. dude.
All
Like,
good. Well, thank
yeah.
you, people. Make sure you smash Andy's face, and you
Why? Why are they smashing
kick
my
this
face?
subscribe button,
Oh yeah, that
and
one. Yeah.
Do the thing
Oh, the
down
subscribe
below.
button.
Yeah.
We'll put it right here.
flick
There,
the little
right on my face.
flick the little bell hanging below
Yeah.
your
Flick
belt
Jeff
line.
Speen. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Do all that.
Yeah.
Later, nerds.
All right. Later.
Laters.
Bye.
Welcome to What the Drift Podcast with your hosts, Formula Drift drivers Andy Haitley and Jeff Jones.